Welcome viewers to race 6 and the resale of race 1 of the Australian 16-foot skiff and 13-foot skiff nationals. Joining me in commentary today is my good mate Paulie McKenzie, back for another round, and 7-time national champion, the head of lead, Peter Hubble. How are you, buddy?
Yeah, pretty good, Jimmy.
So,
thanks. Nice to be out here.
Mate, great to have you. Get you out of the bush and get you down here.
Been a while, yeah.
Back on the water.
Yeah,
so
boat trip on the way over to get here. You know.
Yep. There's the girls on the botany scaffold, currently in second place, hence the red jerseys. Well, sorry, third place, I think it is. Third, so the moving day. But today we have 2 races. The first race is race 6 of the Nationals, guys, and it's in honour, as we have every other race, it's in honour of the fire stopping, which is a boat I happen to know a little bit about. It was part of that one with Doz and with Robbie Napper. Robbie's still sailing. I'm too old, too broken, and Doz, mate, we're all praying for you, mate. Tough day all around. Doz lost his mother overnight, and yeah, just a heartfelt condolences to Doz and the family there.
Whole sailing community's thinking of you and your mum, Doz, and your whole family. We all love coming up to Gosford, hanging out at the mansion, and really feeling for your family today.
Yeah, we'll miss Helen. So, but I guess we dedicate the race to the Dorans, I guess is probably the best way to do it. And we'll go from there. But and then we'll have the resale of race 1, which will be for back to Matana, I guess.
Lucky blokes get a double.
Get a double. But so Hubble, you've been watching at home. What have you been liking?
What have I been liking? Well, it's a bit of an interesting regatta. Every time I mention someone's going to do well, they come last, and vice versa. So not too sure what to say.
Well, mate, you've definitely come to the right place. The commentator's curse works exceptionally well here. So
I was listening to you talking about the commentator's curse, even though I wasn't on the boat. I was just doing the same thing.
Yep. No, we're pretty good at sinking blokes. Like we talked up Robbie Napper the other day and how good he was, and bang, down the mine he went.
Yeah.
So Rob's told me I'm not allowed to mention him at all.
Is that right? I did it to Mackie and the boys. I said, I think they're done. Come out 1-2 eats.
Mate, that was exceptional, what we seen the other day.
It was absolutely exceptional, yeah. It was brilliant.
Led around every mark.
Yeah, unbelievable performance.
You spent a bit of time sailing with Mac.
I sailed with all them guys, yeah.
Yep, and you know better than anyone that when he has a bad day the day before, that he comes out swinging pretty hard the next day, doesn't he?
As they say, you never write a champion off, do you?
No, absolutely not. And he is definitely a champion. But you sailed with Heidi back in the Otis. That's how long you've been around for?
Yeah, I did sail with Heidi, yeah. That was a bit of an experience, let me tell you. The first time I ever sailed with Heidi was at Craig Nichols organised him to come down and sail with me and Paul Gray. And it was a Middle Harbour regatta. I'd never met him before. I'd only seen the white hat heading out the hedge, on his windsurfer for years.
Yep.
Anyway, he's come down, rigged the boat up, out we went. I hadn't put the centreboard in the boat, and he was yelling at me to ease the jib, pull this, pull that, pull the centreboard up. We're looking at each other going, what have we got ourselves in for here? It was unbelievable. And we got to the starting line, and he yells out, he wants a tangent line. Me and the shootout looked at each other. We didn't know what he was talking about. He's literally...
Where's this circle we're talking about?
Yeah, I didn't know what a tangent... We looked at each other, what's a tangent line, He starts pointing and carrying on like that, And we're going up the work, and he's talking about wind splits and all sorts of things. It was an unbelievable education in one day, let me tell you.
Yep, very technical sailor, Greg Hyde.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's nothing he couldn't do.
And Paulie, you had a wander around the park earlier on. What rumours, innuendo, anything you pick up on?
Well, I think everybody's just looking for a bit of consistency out there now. Like, even as we look through the results through the whole fleet in general, we're not really seeing anybody with a really close grouping. So we're trying to see some... a lot of the crews are just going to try and find some consistency today so that they can really try and hit their goals for the regatta. So I think a few of the boats up the top who have had, you know, we're sort of saying a top 5's a keeper. A few of them are looking to try and jag a podium possibly. We might see a few people pushing a bit harder. And then a few of those guys that have had a big result really need to just consolidate. You know, the Noakes who did so well the other day, they've put themselves right back into this competition, but they're still carrying one big number there. So
yeah, 32. You want to get rid of that pretty quickly, don't you?
So, you know, we do start having a drop come into play today, Jimmy.
After the first race today, race 6.
Yeah. And then I think after that first race, we'll really start to see the pecking order arranged, and then start to see some people start thinking about who their major competition is in this regatta. How did you always sort of, we know you're the master, Hubble, of sort of running these regattas and, you know, putting together a program and getting the result that everybody wants. How would you be thinking about this if you were one of those top boats today?
Well, you know, I mean, old Mr. Napton, you know, his theory was getting the top 5 in every race and you're going to win, you know. But the funny thing about this one, you've had some boats do really well and then they've had bad results. You've had other ones that have had similar, and yet they're all pretty much in the same spot.
Yep.
So I think today is going to be interesting because whoever really gets out and goes today could just leave the pack, you know.
Yeah, I mean, if we saw the Noakes do what they did the other day, they'll be, you know, you don't want to say it, but they'd be pretty tough to beat with the forecast coming through as well.
Yeah, and then, you know, you've got the drop comes into play.
Well, there's just 2 drops, which we're not sure how to deal with on this boat, are we?
Yeah, 2 drops. So while we're talking about the results, we might as well have a quick look at them on screen.
That really opens it up.
There we go. So leading at the moment, you have Imey on 16 points, Sail Racing on 18 points, and Typhoon 19 points. Moon and Yachts on 20 points, and then a little step back to Noakes on 39 points. But as we alluded to just before, they've got a 32 points to drop there on the Noakes, so that'll sharpen that up shortly. And then on handicap, you've got Manflu. Nicholas Stabik from Middle Harbour 16s is leading that on 59.5 points. Second is Georgia Clancy on Outback Marine from Manly. Third is Jesse Dransfield on Chubbs from Manly. And fourth is Cunningham's Nick Connor on 67.5 points there. And they had, that first day for them was a horror day. The race that was abandoned, dropping their rig, it snapped a spreader and the rig just exploded, Hubble. It went to a million pieces. The Cunningham's just here. Okay. And then in the 13-foot skiffs, we'll have a quick look at their results. And first on scratch, you have Ebix Gemma Hopkins on 7 points from the Manly Club. Second is Bartley Constructions Taylor Spriggett from the Manly Club on 13 points. Third, Sophie Hart from the Manly 16-foot skiff club on Botany Scaffold on 18 points. Then little Donnie Rollinson on the Fluid from the Manly Club is in fourth on 19. On handicap, we've got Abico Zachary Brackenbury from the Manly 16-foot skiff club on 10 points. Second is Botany Scaffold, Sophie Hart, also from the Manly Club on 21 points. And third is Livewire from the Hornsby Karingai Sailing Club. It's by Isaac Robbins, so they're doing very well. So Double, they've done they're doing the Hornsby Karingai Club very proud. And there's a boat that we went on to win 2 national titles in, being sailed by Alex Hart, Lockie Pryor, and young Seb up the bow there. The boys have had a bit of a regatta to forget about, but that boat's got some tales to tell, and then
let's see if they can turn it on for the sponsor today, as well as the 5-stopping race.
Yeah, well, I had a chat with Mum and Dad last night about it all, and we're not disappointed in how they're going or anything like that. Yeah. They're, as we all know, this class, the 16-foot skiff class, is not a class you can just jump into and go well. Like, I remember when Hubble was putting together a crew with Nath Wilmot and who else did you have that year?
Stretch for a while.
Stretch, and then who'd you have after that?
at Keegs for a little bit, didn't
At
you?
Keegs, prior to that, yeah, Stretch has sort of been started and sort of ended with him, really.
Yeah.
And then there was a period in between when he had all the family. We didn't do a lot of sailing, but
I've had the pleasure of sailing with Stretch. He is amazing.
The human propeller.
Yeah.
he was unbelievable. Eh?
We put
that
him in
is,
the bow, and the things he was telling me to do on the sheet, I was just, well, he almost grabbed it off me.
Yeah, well, so that's Jeff Moore for the people at home that are watching and going, who's Stretch? So that's who he is. He's
I think most people know.
As
He's one of the few
that is known by his nickname,
I
not
think
by
I
his
just
real
found
name.
out his name's Jeff Moore.
He could sail in the bow, the sheet, or the back as good as
Yeah.
like talk about all rounder, you know.
Yeah.
Mate, yeah, he was great. I remember doing a Botany Bay race with him, and like, you know, it was after I'd won a couple of championships, and I went, you know, Hubble, Stretch, you jump on the sheet and I'll go up the bow, and we got to the top mark, coming back in. He goes, you go on the sheet, I'll go up the bow. And I was like, all right, no worries. So I just went for a nice cruise around Botany Bay with him.
Don't worry, when I was spent, he used to go and do the bow for me too.
Yep.
So nobody noticed.
Yeah, the absolute human propeller he was.
You know, it was funny, like when we were sailing with Dennis Tanko with Stretch, this is how his race strategy would be. He would have a rum and coke with about 10 boats, especially on the handicap starts, and you had to keep catching everybody for all these drinks, and that was the strategy.
Keep him interested whilst you're working your way
There's
back through.
young Bethany Sherry there on the Konami from Belmont. And here
She had, we'll be semi-pleased that her boat didn't light it up fully on Tuesday while she wasn't here.
where was she, Paulie?
Well, I heard she was at work.
At work.
At work, but possibly Elton.
Right. So we're not long off signals here, and we are on a compass bearing. We're starting down here at very close to Middle Head, and we are on a compass bearing of 040 degrees, which will take us basically up to Flagstaff, which is where the quarantine station is, or Canai Point, as it is correctly known. 0.8 of a nautical mile, and we're going to be on an L2, Paulie, so leeward finish, 2 laps.
It's quite so as we look up this course today, as Jimmy just alluded to, it's we're only at a 0.9 nautical mile beat, is
0.8.
it? 0.8, where we've been on 1.1s before and doing 3s. The breeze is a little bit lighter. On our instrumentation here, we're sitting at about, as we've been out there, it's been going between 6 and 9 knots, sort of pulsing between the two. We're starting to see the clouds all start to burn off above us, but as Jimmy told me before, it's still sitting over the city quite a lot, so we may see a slight increase. We're not going to see this classic Sydney nor'easter today, I don't think. We might be lucky to see it in the next few. With the top mark over in the right there, it does vary this course a little bit, where people are going to struggle to go into sort of that Dobroy point. You know, that's the classic nor'east line out here. You go and get into that point, get a little bit deeper, and then shoot across to the right. And it'll be interesting to see if they can make it up that far.
Yeah. And who are you guys liking today?
Well,
Paulie, you first. So this is where we pick the podium, Hubble, and if you get it right, you get a lolly.
I've got it wrong every day, don't I?
Yeah.
And so I'm liking Nathan, Mal, and young Barnabas on the Typhoon today. I just think this suits them down to a T. I'm expecting the sail racing being a little bit lighter to do really well. And then the NHS, I had big Brett Davis give me a message this morning saying he's been have some words with the boys and told them to pull their finger out and they better perform for Belmont today. So they're my 3. And then Ivada Ruffy, the young Suchek boys, look super pumped this morning and they like these kind of conditions.
Very good. Hubble, who are you liking out there, brother?
Well, I was going to suggest that
You can go similar, or you can steal some of his.
Looking at the forecast, it'll probably suit our mate Nathan today.
On the Typhoon, Nathan Wilmot, for the viewers at home.
I don't want to put the wood on anybody, but I think it's his conditions fairly well. Second, I'm going to go for the Noakes today.
Pretty hard to go against them after
I think
Tuesday's
there'll be
performance.
maybe enough wind for them. And then the sail racing. The young fella, Felix, he does pretty well.
Yep.
That would be my 3.
Yep. Well, I think this weather plays right into the hands of sail racing. They're having a pretty great regatta. And obviously, young Felix Gretsch there on the sail racing. And then the other one, my other ones would be, I guess, the SKE Electrical with Scott Babbage is another thinker. He's steering. He was steering the other day. We got the wrong intel. My bad people at home. Harry Price was on the sheet, not steering it. So Scott was there steering it. So sorry for the viewers at home.
So they take a few kilos out of the boat there too.
Yes, and you know, you can't go past the those blokes there on screen. The IME, Dave O'Connor. You know, Dave Gilmore. Sorry, I keep getting this wrong, but yeah, Dave Gilmore, Trent Barnabas, and Robbie Napper. You know, they'll be hard to beat, but you know, you can't go past the Typhoon, a real thinking man's course out here today. So, but yeah, I'd like to see Robbie get another title so he etches closer to you, Hubble.
Yeah, well, you just mentioned a boat that is leading at the moment, I think, isn't he?
Yep, yeah, they're currently leading without a drop.
The first time I saw Dave Gilmore sail was in Belmont. The first few races weren't real flash, but I can tell you after that, he is a super talent, that guy.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot about his background, but...
His dad's pretty good.
Yeah, his old man wasn't a bad starter, was he?
He's done a lot of sailing with my little brother.
Has he?
Yeah, the match racing tour and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think he got up to second in the world, second or third in the world in that. So he's no mug.
There we go,
wouldn't
5
surprise
minutes,
me.
signals
And
are
he's
up.
done a fair bit of 49er stuff as well.
Yeah, okay.
You're alluding to the good sailor in the family there, Paulie, are you?
Who? My little brother?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a little bit better than me. He hasn't jumped on the skiff too many times, but when he has, we have to entice him. I know he's we've jacked a win with him a couple of times, but yeah, he is definitely the more talented in our family. It's interesting as we picked our podium today. None of us picked out the Moonin. You know, we've sort of, after their win a couple of years ago, they have been the favourite in this fleet for quite a while. On Tuesday, we sort of alluded to them having an issue down that last run. They actually broke their backstays,
Really?
so they really couldn't push it down that last run. So they dropped back from a 4th to the 8th, which I think they did very well to nurse the rig home. But they, you know, we didn't mention the Noakes on Tuesday, so they could be a surprise packet today, I reckon.
So you reckon if we don't mention them on our podium, they go all right?
Yeah, I think our podium should be unofficial so that it doesn't affect any other boats out there.
Everything's always unofficial around here, Hubble.
Yeah. But the IME,
There's the
I mean-
leader of the 13-foot skiffs on screen, Ebix, with the Hopkins.
So have we got jerseys on the leaders today, Jimmy? Is that correct?
Yeah. So you'll see the people that are leading overall will have the gold leaders jersey, a bit like the
Olympics.
well, yeah, a bit like the Olympics. So it makes it a little bit easier for us to identify, and I guess if you're a competitor, it makes it a little bit easy for you to figure out who you got to chase.
And then blue will be the second, and red is third, I believe.
Yep.
I hadn't heard of that before.
Yeah, I think they started doing it in Belmont last year.
Really?
Yeah. Makes it a bit easier for us, definitely, I think, when we're trying to pick some boats out.
And there's the Skelcon from Belmont. But this breeze will be a bit of a leveler for everyone, I think, today with the conditions that we've got. And you know, it's the sound is normally pretty, got plenty of waves and so forth. It's pretty flat, so you know it's going to have the Belmont guys licking their lips here a bit today. It's a bit more like the Bay.
Yeah, it's strange though, the lumpiest day we've had is where the Belmont guys did the best. On
The
that
AP
first day,
has
isn't
gone,
it?
just there, the AP has gone up.
So the one question that I keep on getting, Jimmy, on text messages during the races and everything is everyone's asking what gears everyone got on today. So so I think everybody in the 16 fleet is on big rigs, with some of them on big chips, just because we're sort of in that range, how the majority of the fleet looks to have their second jibs in today. They're expecting this breeze just to push through a little bit more, I believe. So we might see a tale of two things in this first race. It could be better to have that big jib in, whereas the second race it could be better to have the second one in.
Yeah, it is going to be the tale of definitely of two races. Like this cloud cover is burning off a lot quicker than I thought, Paulie. So
Yeah.
if you've got your turbo on, you might be getting a little nervous, but
Yeah.
tends to mean that the breeze will kick a little bit. So it's sort of in that northeast quarter.
Yeah. On screen there, we've got Anthony King, Julian Lindemann, and Jamie King.
From the Manly Club on the shebang.
Those boys are a little bit disappointed, I believe, at the moment, losing the most heated battle of the deck between them and Fluid Building.
Yep, there's always a battle within a battle in these championships between.
I think Clint's 4 from 4 over his old mate Ant at the moment.
And that's where we are at the moment on screen for the viewers at home, and the breeze is just shifting around, hence the AP. Hugh Lester's trying to get us underway, being our PRO. He's trying to get us underway as quick as possible, and we'll see what happens. So there's the answering pennant on the start boat there on screen. Yep. Can you see the top mark boat, Paulie? Is it picking up marks, moving?
I can see a boat just up off Little Manly. So
Yep.
if we're all looking at that direction, there is, looks like actually they're at the 13 mark at the moment,
Right.
or possibly just past it, but not quite sure. I haven't seen a big shift in the breeze out here, but we have just had that little pulse, so they might even be extending it a tiny bit or something like that with the slight increase in breeze.
There's not too much that they can extend it. You sort of get to terra firma if you extend it, and we can't.
Wow.
Well, we could drop back a little bit, but not very much. Trying to keep a channel open behind the start line for all the gin palaces coming out of Middle Harbour, so that they don't hopefully go through our course area.
Well, we could also be, you know, if we're only on 2 laps and we do get this little increase, they might be thinking about going from 2 to 3 laps, you never know, just
Yeah.
to try and hit that target race time.
Yep, and for the viewers at home, the target race time's 45 minutes for the short courses, so it'd be nice if they just did that for a long course back in our day, Hubble, wouldn't it? 45 minutes would be enough.
Yeah, well, I think they went to 2 races a day just to finish me off, actually.
It was conspiracy theory
I
against
think
your
so,
brother.
yeah. I did 3 up in Harvey Bay. Was it Harvey Bay or Brisbane?
Harvey Bay.
Brisbane. I did 3 heats in one day.
Oh, that was horrible, that regatta,
Oh,
wasn't it? That's
man.
what got me sacked off the Sutek, that regatta.
Yeah, that wore me out.
So just getting some comms off our spy on board the start boat, Jack Andrew, just saying the pin end is reading 045, and they're getting on the boat a reading of 100 degrees. So, you know, the line's, you know, relatively long, but that's the difference between, you know, one end of the line to the other at the moment. So, yeah, and where we are sitting, we're just sitting adjacent to the start boat, and it's, you know, occasionally I'm getting a little bit of breeze through my window, and then I feel a little bit of breeze come through your window over there, Paulie.
Well, we got 030 on our instrumentation, so...
Yeah, don't take that as gospel. There's Tribeca with Keegan York on the sheet. He's up to what, race day 5 of his 16-foot skiff career this season.
Saw some photos of his 18 going together yesterday as well.
Yeah, well, I hit him up to because in our other world of sail media of doing the 18-foot skiffs, our lead commentator Peter Shipway is away this Sunday, and I had Keegan lined up, and he said just put it in pencil, and then I kept hammering him, saying that us at Sail Media like pen, not pencil. And he goes, we're going in the water this Sunday, so he's racing, and we've got we'll be joined in commentary for the 18s by Phil Barnett, the mighty Cub.
Oh, nice.
Cub. Yep, and I've got the back to the old mighty Bucko in the trying to piece it all together.
I'll tell you a funny story about Cub if you want.
As long as it's PG,
Yeah,
you're
no,
more than
fine.
welcome.
I was sailing 18 footers when I was about 16, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a southerly. We were hurtling down towards, wherever, and Cub fell overboard, and we nearly ran him over, like within inches, doing about 30 knots. That was Cub. It was that close.
I've had a close one in the 16s at Drummoyne where I fell out round the top mark, and I'm pretty sure you got close to running me over.
Yeah, okay.
Well, that's the problem. If you fell out of the boat double, you'd sink.
Well, we're never going to hit him, are we?
Well, I always had like in surfboards where you got a strap, just in case you do, because I can't swim.
Yeah, I know that. I remember finding you loaning you a life jacket one day.
Yeah, that's right.
So we're going to move the start line for the viewers at home. So just in a little bit of a holding pattern here, viewers. So feel free to grab a refreshment, make a sandwich, which way you like. And while we're there, I'd like to give a huge shout out to the all the workers at Moon and Yachts over in the Netherlands that are tuning in each from the boatyard. They down tools and watch the live stream
That's
here.
right.
So,
And we didn't predict them in the top 3.
well, you can change now, Hubble, because we're
Yeah, I
moving the
guess so,
start
yeah.
line.
Well,
So you want to put them in?
They're always a dark horse, aren't they?
All right, we'll put the Moon and Yachts in our pick the podium. So
Get them in there.
shout out to you blokes. We'll have to try and hit Moon and Yachts up, Paulie, for our Christmas party. Have a nice boat.
Oh, that sounds like a good one.
Sail Media Christmas party.
Yeah, I'm sure we can invite Ruffy along.
Oh, someone's got to be the waiter. So yeah, the
Buddy Stenner can hold a lot of drinks. We might take him instead. Those hands.
So there's the start boat, which is upping anchor and shifting start line down towards where the Len Riley is, which is one of the support boats, which I'm assuming's more down towards Washaway Beach with the way the breeze has swung here, Paulie. Because I believe there's a shipping movement due at 4 p.m. in 2 hours' time, and they're hoping to try and, I think, get us off the water before then.
Well, I think in terms of shipping movements today, Jimmy, we're quite a long way out of it with where we've set up this course.
Yeah, 100% we are, but like I think
We're just limiting risk as much as possible at the moment, aren't we?
correct.
Yeah.
There's the live wire from Hornsby Karingai on there. Well, that's the Noakes. It's Davey O'Connor, Pete Mackey and Ricky Bridge.
There's the
There's the live wire.
They've got a bit of pressure going up there.
So we can just see everybody in a bit of a holding pattern. Not sure. Following the start boat back towards Middle Harbour, Balmoral region.
Yep, and that is the Mutiny is the name of that boat. That's the Middle Harbour start boat, owned by Peter Tinworth, hence Mutiny. So we'll just slowly mosey on down with them.
Just got Zoe Dransfield doing her best job to try and slow it up, saying you've gone enough. That looks like a great place to drop anchor.
The problem here is the tide again is a run out tide, and there's the Moon and Yachts for the staff there at the Moon and Yachts factory in the Netherlands.
So with their new backstays on the boat, I knew they were thinking about going for a sail yesterday to see if they could stretch them out.
No breeze yesterday, Paulie.
I know. So the Oracle just put the sails on, got them to pump it a few times on the beach. So that'll do. Go out there and flog them. So they're ready and raring to go. Looks like they've found a new position for the start boat.
Found a spot right in the middle of the tide.
Yeah.
So how many general recalls are you picking here, Paulie? There's Sail Racing on screen.
Blue vests, currently second overall. I'm going 2. I'm 2 with a black flag on the third one, I reckon.
Yeah, well, that is Hugh Lester's style. As I said, I caught up with him earlier on, and that's what he does. He gives them 2 P flag starts, and then it's straight to black flag. Behave yourself. And there's Eric's removal and storage from Middle Harbour. They're on screen. They will be licking their lips with what they're seeing at the moment with this breeze.
They've jacked a few wins in these kind of conditions, haven't they, Jimmy?
Yeah, they do sail very well in these conditions. They're another dark horse today, Hubble. So I caught up with Nathan Edwards, the class president, and sheet hand, on board Eric's removals earlier on, and we'll just jump to that video if we can, Chits. Nathan Edwards, the Australian president, joins us today. Nathan, how's the regatta going?
It's going really well. From our racing perspective, I guess from the boat, we didn't have a great day on Tuesday, but we had a really good one on Monday. So fingers crossed, if it holds off light, we might be able to snag a few, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, you guys are pretty electric in the light stuff.
Oh, we love it.
The new boat, you happy with it?
Yeah, stoked with it. Really easy. It's a lot easier to sail. We're not having to work as hard. It means we can focus on other areas where we're going up the racecourse bridge rather than just trying to squeeze every inch out of the boat. So
yep,
it's going well for us.
Yeah, and re-elected to Australian president again.
Yes.
So all going well from the association point of view?
Yeah, I think so. Look, the association's in a really good spot, and hopefully over the next year or so we should be able to bring some new people in and hopefully get a bit more involved with what we do. The class is doing really well at the moment, so hopefully we're doing all the right things. But yeah, it's going really well. Well,
it's fantastic from our point of view, like viewing and being able to bring this live stream to everyone. So thanks for allowing us access to everywhere, the PRO and everyone. So it's great fun, mate. We're really enjoying it.
And that's a testament also to Manly as well. Because Manly's really put the facilities up and cash to be able to do this sort of stuff. So it does really help the class overall, and I think all the sailors really appreciate it as well. And all the spectators as well. It really makes it a lot easier to watch and understand a bit about the class as well.
Yeah, no, it's an amazing class, and the numbers speak for themselves both in the 16s and 13s at this regatta. So you guys are obviously doing something right at association level to keep that happening. So thanks for joining us today, Nathan.
No, thank you very much for having me.
Best of luck.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
There it was, catching up with Nathan Edwards earlier on today. Eric's rigging up at Middle Harbour Skiff Club, so he just popped over to where the camera cat lives, and we did a little interview this morning with him, Hubble, and very interesting guy, and he's got his ring hanging out overseeing all this, plus trying to sail. It's quite a difficult job, but he's does some incredible work, and he's thanks again to the association for the access that they've given Sail Media this week to the ROs and everyone else. So it's been it's a pleasure to work with an association that we all love and adore. Anyway, we're all 16-foot skiff mad here on this boat. So, and there's the fluid Clint Bozo Bowen on screen. Sailing with Phil Harmer and Dave Burkett.
Yeah, I saw Phil Harmer down there before. He gets around these days, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's well, now the borders are back open, he'll be off overseas doing a lot of sailing. He's a professional yachtsman.
Yeah.
He's a consultant for North Sails down there at Mona Vale. Now he's working down there, and he's enjoying his time there when he's back in Australia. So there's Shearline from the Manly Club, a 13-foot skiff, which is Owen Gilmeister and Orlando Sadlick. I think that's a borrowed boat, isn't it, by memory? I think that's what Dolly said the other day. And here's Marilyn Sorensen on the sheds on the screen, Pete.
Marilyn's gone all right in a couple of races. She said she was going well when it was windier.
Yeah, well, Uncle Steve's on there, so...
Uncle Steve,
Yeah.
mate. Gotta love Uncle Steve.
And there's the number 9 from Hornsby Kringai Sailing Club, Angus Stewart and Hugo Kemp. They having a blinder of a few races. And
Hornsby Kringai.
yeah, so Hubble, that's close to you. You might go down and offer some wisdom to the young boys and girls down there. And
There's a sailing club there round from Brooklyn, around the outside there, but I've been around there a few times, but never figure out when they're sailing.
Well,
They seem to do it fortnightly.
we'll find out for you. But
Better find out, yeah.
We'll find out. And there's the Cunninghams on the screen.
New mast on that boat?
Sorry, buddy.
Is that the new mast?
Yeah, that is the new mast. It's the new mast and all been tuned up, and
They did well with the amount of...
the boys all having a laugh.
They did well with all the breakages to, you know, not damage too many sails on that boat, because that mast was in 3 pieces.
Yeah,
I believe.
it fits inside the trailer exceptionally well. You know you've broken the mast good and proper when it fits in the trailer nice and easy.
They don't break a lot these days, being out of the carbon, do they?
No, but it's also to, you know, like how you store them, how you look after them. You know, a lot of things all play in that way. And there's the red pumps red, I believe. Tyler Dransfield on screen.
Okay.
That's just indicate that siren was just indicating that they're happy. The AP hasn't come down yet, but they've just raised their orange flag, which means get ready to rumble shortly. And there's the man flu, the leader on handicap on screen.
It's an interesting spot where the start line is, isn't it? You know, as I have a look across it now, I think my 2 general recalls could definitely get larger.
Get larger.
Get larger. I think we'll be lucky for 2.
Well, we're sitting broadside to the breeze here on the Camry Cat at the moment, and we're not moving. Like, we've got the breeze pushing us into Middle Harbour, but the tide's holding us out of Middle Harbour. So it's, you know, as long as all the players out here realise that the tide rushes out of Middle Harbour. There's a lot of deep holes up the back of Middle Harbour, and all that water's got to get out. So, you know, what are we looking at? We've got a 1 metre of water got to run out.
Yep.
1 metre.
Yep. So,
Jimmy's just showing me a new bit of technology I didn't even know was here.
yeah, so we've got on the Garmin on board here, we have the chart plotter. We can look into the tides and whatever else you want to look into.
So this 1 metre, how many litres is that going out, you reckon?
Oh, mate, that's you know what? Jump online, leave a message, and I'll get Bucko to answer it for you. That's a Bucko answer.
Yeah.
Alluding to Andrew Buckland,
Definitely
one of my other
capital.
co-commentators from the 18s. Yeah, if you got and for the viewers at home, if you got a question, please leave a message on whichever channel you're watching, whether it's on YouTube or Facebook, and we'll do our best to have a look at that and get back to you.
I have been checking up on it on Tuesday just whilst we're out here commentating, so feel free to... We've also been corrected a few times through it, which is...
Yeah, so
okay.
We try to keep it live and interactive with our viewers. It's one of the things that we try hard to here.
You answer questions, live ones, do you?
Sometimes, Hubble.
Sort of, yeah. I didn't know you can ask questions. Do you realise how many I would have been asking if I knew that?
Well, we would just ignore
would've
you.
blocked me out.
We answer good questions, Hubble.
Ones which have substance we'll answer, Hubble.
Okay.
There's the pin boat down there with the orange flag.
Well, I used to like it when they had a black flag start because the majority of the fleet would be that far back. You'd be starting on your own.
Well, they've all got these fancy instruments now, which keep
they?
them up there. Yeah, I'd say the majority of the fleet are
On the
on
line.
the what are they called, Jimmy? The star
Salmons.
salmons.
Yep, so that's right here, the salmon that we've got on board our boat.
Well, this tells you how far off the start line you are.
Yeah, so you go pin the ends
Are
of the
you
line,
serious?
and they'll tell you.
I'm making a comeback.
You heard it right here first, Hubble's making a comeback.
So long as someone can read all the instruments, I'll be laughing.
The worst part is where they put them on the boat, Hubble. You're the one that's got to be in control of it.
Oh, okay, well, that's the end of that.
So that's the end of that idea.
Yeah.
All right, Hubble's back in retirement. The OP coming down here in about 8 seconds, so 6 minutes to our start from this down.
So the move of the start line, Jimmy, what's our... do we think it brings that left-hand side of the course a bit more into play?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, you know better than anyone, Paulie, where you got to go in this.
I know where to go if we're heading all the way up into Manly.
Yeah.
I always seem to get a little bit lost when we put the top mark a bit further in the right.
Well, we won't be going, well, the top mark's up near Ed Head or Canoi Point.
I know this is built for Ed, this course, isn't it?
And he's not sailing it, so Craig Nichols normally sails on the Typhoon, and
Least tax possible, ends up
Yep.
in Ed Head every time.
here we go. The 5 minutes signals are coming up.
Just as we sort of
There
hinted
we
at
go.
before with everybody, that traditional nor'east line here is to try and hit Dobroyd Point and sort of get the wind. We get a bit of compression in the breeze and a little bit of bend round the corner, and you can generally get a nice run in with a few waves and then tack out on a nice lift around near the Bombora markers off Dobroyd Point. Where we were set up before, a bit further in the right, it might have been a little bit of a struggle to get over there, but now this brings it into play a little bit more.
Yep. And well, we're talking about Ed Head off the Typhoon. Shout out to Russell Boyle and Sonia at the club for the golf club day.
Long time
And the,
sponsors, aren't they?
Long time sponsors.
They used to do it quite a bit when we were juniors too down here. We always used to wear the Hawaiian shirts and things like that. They did a great job with all of that, and you could really pick out the Manly team when we were younger, because we were wearing the brightest shirts in the whole fleet.
Yep.
And they made a good effort to come down to a lot of things when I was a young kid down here myself.
And yeah, hello to everyone at the club watching from the live site there at the Golf Club Day luncheon.
Quick shout out to the Sutec team. I believe they're all sitting up on the hill today. Steve-O's given the afternoon off. Joined up there with Mark, his brother, Steve, Simon, Amanda.
Sitting up at Dobroyd.
Yep. Steve-O will be winning the race for sure from up there.
The eyes in the sky. And there's the Sutec on screen. So
Good bunch of boys on that boat.
absolute characters, aren't they?
Yeah, love to have fun, love to send it, and I think these conditions today suit them down to a T, so expecting a good result.
Is that the original Sutec?
I think it's about our third one.
Third one.
Yeah.
Had many a race with that boat.
Yeah. Well, it's one of my favourites.
Yeah.
So, Hubble, where would you be setting up on this line, do you reckon?
Well, I can tell you if I was Lee Knapp then, I can tell you exactly where he'd be, 3/4 of the way down the line. And that's his spot, no matter what's going on.
Really? Every time?
Every single time he'll start 3/4 of the way down the line, no matter what. He's been doing it for about 20 years. Very conservative spot. Got everything sort of covered.
Yep.
If I was sailing with Nathan Wilmot. We could be doing a Port Tucker. We could be doing anything. It would be spectacular one way or the other. Seriously, some of the starts that we did,
Yeah.
we wouldn't know what he was going to do, right? And they were like events, you know, and some of them were so good, you just shook your head and think, how did that happen, you know?
I think it was a Manly Nationals here against him. The last one here.
Remember the one in
Then he did the Port Tucker or possibly in one of these and just boom, gone.
That
You
was
still didn't win that race, did you?
Yeah.
About 9 minutes in front and still
4
didn't win.
minutes 50 in
Got
front of the
over,
top
did.
mark and got past.
Choked.
Well, I didn't even know he was behind us. I wasn't allowed to look behind. I did not have a clue where he was until he rounded inside of us. Yeah, it wasn't good. But that particular race we're coming up on the port, you know, was just sitting there amongst all those boats at the leeward end. We didn't know what he was doing, right? And we're thinking, and you could see the breeze was breaking. He knew no one was going to get across that starting line to the inch. He says, let's go. And we're sailing and we're seeing Cookie coming. I thought we were gone. No one crossed the line. We were gone for 5 minutes before they crossed the line.
I remember it quite clearly myself.
Have you seen
I was
the
on the
photos of
boat
that?
sitten there, not crossing the line.
Have you seen the photos
I think
of
we're
that?
sitting beside you, Paulie.
Probably just in front.
Mate, that was unbelievable.
Wasn't a day for our weight of...
What about
Blokes?
you said with two skippers on the fire stopping? They loved a pin end start, both Joe and Doz, didn't they? Blast
Yeah.
hard and fast off the pin.
Yeah, well, Doz was always, you know, like he liked the low lane and going fast. So, you know, we always started down the pin, but just coming up to 20 seconds to our start here.
So we've got all the top people from the fleet sort of spread all the way across it. Actually, we got the Moonin, Red Pumps, Red, NHS down on the pin with the Noakes starting up off the boat closest to us.
Noakes is in a good spot. Look at that.
Noakes is having a lovely start.
Individual recall, we're not sure who it is, but I'm sure...
Bartley looked a long way forward in the centre of the line to me, and then possibly someone down at the pin end. So going off at the moment off the pin, the Noakes Blue or Noakes Development has a great start. The Moon and Hot in pursuit. Moon and there themselves heading back. So they obviously thought they were over. Moon's running.
Noakes has got a great start down that leeward end. Look.
Yeah, that's the Noakes Blue, that's Ryan Ewing.
I can see the SK Electrical
okay. Yeah.
also went back round to restart. Now, the fact that the Noakes Blue was bow forward on the Moon and the Moon and thought they were over, you'd have to think that they possibly have been over as well. But we'll wait to hear from the starters before we make too many assumptions.
Bartley Constructions have just been confirmed as OCS from the start boat for us. So
And they were the only boat
Jack.
that were actually over.
Yeah, so wow. A lot of hard work for the Moon and Yachts to climb back through.
Not a lot of breeze down that leeward end, is there?
No,
It's
so,
very soft.
so the Red Pumps Red, young Tyler and his team, they're pushing furthest into that left-hand corner. You get a bit worried about a few holes coming over the hill here, don't you, Hummel?
Yeah.
You can also sometimes get one of those little short, sharp, puffy ones that can shoot you back out.
Yeah, they are attacking just off Washaway Beach.
I'd say the good thing for them is they've got the boat that we picked ourselves just below them. So the NHS are just going in front of them, but the Typhoon's already just bailed out onto starboard. With everybody else sort of filtering back through. Looks to me though, Hubble, we're having a bit of a look over our shoulder at the moment. The boats started at the boat end of the line are looking a little bit better, aren't they?
They are. They're a little more bruised, I think.
Yeah.
I didn't think it looked the favoured end, but there's definitely more bruise in the middle there.
We're sitting just off Dobroy Point ourselves, and there definitely is a little bit of breeze pushing through here. So these boats that have gone left should catch that first.
And there's the Chubbs and Musto. and Sail Racing.
So we can see a few of these more fancy boats are actually buried back in the fleet, and we've seen them all come through quite well so far, but today it can be a little bit more difficult with a bit lighter breeze if you get caught up. As you get caught up in more dirty air, it seems to affect you a little bit more. So on screen here, these are all the boats on starboard, sort of heading in towards this point, which I said we'd expect them all to come towards.
Yeah, there's definitely more breeze in this point than there is in there.
It definitely is, isn't there? And you often find along that shore, if the mark's far enough up, that's where we do get the most breeze pushing along that point. So the Noakes Blue or Noakes Development on screen there seem to be leading this pack across.
Just over to your left of screen there, Rob, there you go, Nozomi
Looked famous
From
on the
the-
first day.
from Belmont.
We can just sort of see the crews stretched out in the gust but having to bend so that they can maintain their height in those lulls.
Not a day for our knees, is it, Paulie?
Well, I don't bend, Jimmy.
We know.
I don't bend. So the Nozomi's looking really nice here. They've taken that preferred line into the point here. So all these boats are now sitting, just for everyone's reference, on the course, sort of in that Bombawara area. We'll expect to see Nozomi tack out of there shortly. I think they're going to time this quite well with the gust coming around the point at the moment.
There's a good increase in pressure coming to them, isn't there?
Yeah. I think with this puffy breeze, Hubble, look, there's going to be some big gains to make downwind if you can lock into one of these and sort of jive your way through it. That's where you're going to make some big gains, aren't you?
Yeah, that's right. You want to get around the top stew, don't you?
Yeah.
It's super important that, you know, the sheet hand in these boats being three people, like the forward hand's busy trimming that spinnaker, and they, you know, the forward hands can only do one job anyway at a time.
Yeah.
So
They're a special breed.
They're a special breed, but the sheet hand, his job generally is to be looking around, trying to line these puffs up and link them up as best you can, and then still be told that you're doing it wrong by Joe Turner. So,
Well, nobody can do it as well as Joe Turner. We all know that.
he's good.
So the leader on the race course is the Nozomi at the moment. They've, just for reference in terms of the top mark, I'd say they're about 50 metres off the port lay, Jimmy.
Yeah, there's not much, wouldn't be jumping back onto starboard anytime soon, would you?
No. But in terms of this race course, you do want to be on this long port board heading across to here and try and time it so that you get a nice gust coming out of Manly.
Yep.
They do have the current leader hot on their heels in the Imey, who none of us picked early on, apart from Jimmy, I believe. Just being ever consistent, this boat. And as you can see there, Imey's just got a nice high line above them, which can happen in these nor'easters. You just grab a little puff, you manage to sail about 5 to 10 degrees higher.
There's the difference between first and second on the race course, and you can just see in the background there, Typhoon just off the jib of the Imey. So they've got a little bit of work to do, but if anyone can do it, Nathan Wilmot can do it, can't he, Abel?
Yeah, he can do it. The Imey got a great start, and
You just see them falling into a hole there, and he's like,
but he's got out this side again just early enough, didn't he?
yep.
You know, if he went out that right-hand side, they're stuck out there a bit. He's got out of it really well.
Just to the off screen, we don't need to go to it. We've also got a Manly ferry that's just left the wharf, which
Inbound.
could cause a bit of havoc with this fleet trying to make it over the right hand side where this top mark is.
And that's one of the ferries, Paulie, that you're talking about that you have to give way to.
Yeah. And there is a big hole behind this one. And then
He's got a big bow wave coming off, that's for sure.
So we can see there on the Imey, both crew crouched in on the side. Probably means it's about 8 to 9 knots across the bow of that boat at the moment.
Yeah, and as you get up into, up into
Little Manly.
Cove, the breeze does become very patchy up here, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. So we can see here the Imey just heading back towards Manly there. They've seen something out this side that they like. We can see there as well. Now they've got both buoys at full stretch. So these boats really, when you do
He'll be a close cross, Paulie, coming up with the Nozomi.
I think they're going to be ahead.
Yep, new leader on course is the Imey.
So these boats, when you do get 2 on 1, it really does engage that rig and really makes it start to work for you. And the speed difference is massive. So it's really going to be searching for puffs today as the big one.
Looks impressive, doesn't it?
Very smooth, isn't it? And with Rob and Trent, they've always had great boat handling, those two. So looks to me that we're going to have the Nozomi and Imey coming back bow to bow pretty close to this top mark in about 30 seconds time.
And there's that Manly ferry which sort of went around the back of just about everyone that he could, so thank you to that operator. Here comes our leaders coming to the top mark.
So you can see there, that's the Imey on screen.
Yep, the Imey will be first.
They've just tacked in front. They've extended away a bit there, haven't they, Hubble? So we're going to get to see here. It's a good start there for the Imey. Closely followed by the Nozomi. These two have created a nice little gap behind them. Who do you think we've got next coming in?
This is a huge pack coming in next, isn't it?
Yeah.
And with no surprise, Eric's Removal and Storage, who we thought, as I said, keep an eye on in this weather.
Yep.
And the one who would be chuffed is young Ryan Ewing sailing with his old man Gil.
Yep. He had a great start off that pin. And it's amazing what Clear Air can do, and being at the front of the fleet, you just seem to sail a little bit harder. So they're actually going to be able to squeeze their way over the Erics here.
Oh! Next around, Botany Access, then the Typhoon, Nathan Wilmot.
Nice little bit of pressure hitting these boats to try and get them down. We're going to see a big difference in angle between them and the Nozomi and other boats in front.
Yep, and NHS next around from Belmont, Cunningham's.
It is a good mast on the Cunninghams. Red Pumps.
Red Pumps, then Tribeca, Infinity Rigging. So there's just a huge increase in pressure just hit us here, Paulie. Like when I say huge, it's a good puff that you want to stay in.
Yeah, we're sort of getting up around that 11 knots from that 6, and especially when you put a spinnaker up, even bigger difference. First girl around on the southerly there.
Zoe Dransfield. And then the Bartley Constructions next around.
Much better result there for the Bartley. Or maybe Bartley, I would pick didn't go back at the start if they're there, would you, Jimmy?
Tough. And there's the Noakes. Davey O'Connor coming around next. Chubbs, the Dominoes, and then there's a whole gaggle of boats coming in here now.
This is going to get a little bit interesting here. A few people have taken some very tight lays and are really trying to push the people up above them. We may see a bit of a stacking here. A few boats touching. So, also just about to pop on screen the sail racing. Not where they'd want to be today.
No,
And we're still yet to see the Moonin coming up the course either, unfortunately.
they're just about to come onto screen, Paulie, with
okay, nice.
with Red Pumps Red, who are having another race that they'd sooner forget. There they are there on screen, Capital Brewing.
So now we're just heading off back down the course. We might try and grab a few 13s on our way back through, Jimmy?
Yeah, we'll do our best.
If we can, however, we are a little bit limited with the 16s and the line that they're taking down here. They may block us getting across to them on this lap. So, as we look down the course, the Ivy took an early jibe out. However, they managed to make it back over to that sort of left-hand side of the course looking upwind. Whereas the Zombie ran right over into Dobroyd, and I think they might have made a little gain by doing that. However, it does look like they're getting a bit of a right-hand slant out here and being able to drive back over the top. There really are some big angle differences between the boats out here, aren't there? Depending on what pressure they're in and so forth. Cunningham's appear to be almost pointing straight at the bottom mark, whilst they're almost into the lead, almost. There's something to do.
Yeah, and for the viewers from home, it's probably easier to see it from the drone. Is the darker patches on the water? That's an increase in pressure, and in that increase in pressure too, you'll see like it's shaped, and one side's a knock, one side's a lift generally.
Yep.
And
It's like a little mushroom coming out.
Little mushroom coming out. Good way to describe it, Paulie. And you got to try and pick which side is your better side of that breeze line that you want. But I think you're right, mate. I think we may have a bit of a lead change here.
Yeah, I think we've got a different leader now.
And the big mover, Cunningham's, up into possibly third here.
It's one thing that I've noticed in these races, Jimmy, that when we do have a bit of a gaggle of boats going around at the top there, the bloke who we've been seeing going the quickest down all week is Ruffy on the Moonin, and he's not afraid to jibe out first, really clear his air and just trust his speed. So the Cunningham's jibed out first out of everybody there, and they've made a really good game. And now they're coming back on starboard with some rights on these guys, and they're going to get to go inside all of them.
Imey just leading Nozomi
Lovely
right at the bottom
there, wasn't
then
it?
Probably a tie for third. Cunningham's coming one mark and Eric's going the right hand mark.
So the breeze here does appear to have shifted a long way to the right from the start.
Next around is Red Pumps and Nate's Youth with Typhoon hot on their heels. Nathan will try and wedge it up inside him and sail a bit higher line there on the Typhoon, as you know, Hubble.
Yep. Unfortunately, they've got the Erics in front of them, who possibly have got one of the best high grooves in the fleet.
What's going on with the top of the main on the Typhoon there? The halyard caught. Sorted.
Looked like a halyard caught round the back of the button.
So that's resolved. NHS next round in Tribeca from Mighty St George Club. You've been down to the new club, Hubble.
I have. I actually went down there, met Nappo and Patterson. Like a mini reunion. It's the first time I've been down there for a long time. It's pretty impressive. As most people would realise, that's where I started my sailing, in the Gwen 12s.
Glen 12s.
The mighty Gwen 12s. I've heard so much about them. I've never seen one.
Next around is Musto from Manly, and then Abigail back coming down. Guys, it is...
Picture perfect, isn't it?
Yep.
So we got a few of these other more fancy boats that didn't get off to some fancy starts.
Light and Wonder going there, and then Southerly coming straight at us with Bartley.
Brett Davis this morning telling me as well he's had a bit to do with these Light and Wonder boys, and he thinks they're going to have big things in front of them. His guess says give them a couple of years and they'll be right up there. Just got to gain some.
And look who's coming, Paulie, just to the left of that screen. The Moonin Yachts is
the quickest boat downwind by a significant amount this week.
we've seen that all week, haven't we?
Yeah.
And Daniel Turner's got his cousin Georgia Clancy right up his tuck there, and the Dominoes going around from Belmont. They're be hoping to try and climb up the ladder a little bit from there.
I think we saw the Moonin round that top mark in about 40th position. I think by the looks of this, they've crept up into probably 12th to 15th.
Probably halved it, and then yeah, but as you know, Paulie, two lapper, so going to run out of runway here real
really
quick.
Got to turn on the afterburners to try and get a keeper. Let's
And
put a bit of pressure on Matty with that drop too. But
he's good enough to handle that.
Old banana fingers has managed to get it in there.
What do you call him?
That's what his girlfriend calls him, banana fingers. She's been asking me to say it all week.
Yeah, he got thrown in the deep end just there, didn't he? But he handled it well.
We don't worry about foreigners, like
I
you
know,
know
you
that.
don't.
We just start yelling at you when you got your head in the bag, spinning her all over your head.
Yeah, I know.
So there's also just on screen, sorry to butt in, there's the
right.
dunks going around as well. And we're yet to see the sail racing around this bottom mark.
It's only when that boat was so good because he used to count down the boys and he'd tidy up all the ropes for you. He did everything for you. Made me look very good.
Maybe that's what I needed, Hubble, someone to make me look good.
He'd do everything. Yeah. He'd count down the buoy. He knew exactly where it was.
Could you pull the main off for me as well?
He did everything. Yeah. Fingers, toes. He used to steer with his toe around the top mark 25 knots. Tidy up the ropes simultaneously. You had to see to believe it.
Yeah, no, I was lucky enough to sail a couple of races with him, and obviously sailed my junior career with him.
You did, didn't you? That's
Yeah,
right.
in the
you
Flying
did
11s, and then, mate, yeah, the things he could do, you just sort of shook your head. It was like, because obviously I was a big tall guy, he wanted me out hiking, and he'd be tidying up things in there, so he didn't, as you know, Hubble, you didn't have to worry about a good drop because he'd take care of it for you.
He put it in the right spot, always.
Talking of people looking after their crews, and King making his crew drop the spinnaker past the mark. Bit of brotherly love there. Closely followed by his good mate Clint on the fluid.
We did one race together, didn't we, Jimmy, with Lee out in the bay?
Yep.
One to forget at the time, but
I noticed my phone never called again from your Hubble, so...
oh, I don't think it was your fault. It was one of those days. I wonder if I put the spinnaker in the cleat.
I've just had Jody Shields message me with Hubble's push very big question saying that there's 38,000 gigalitres of water that'd be leaving.
38,000
I think his maths is about as good as yours because that sounds way too big to me. So,
That's a good answer, but I don't know what a gigalitre is.
It's a lot more than one.
Perhaps I read the message.
I wonder how many gigalitres I've got at my house.
This is the Bartley on screen. They're up in the corner near the top rowing point.
And these are 13-foot skiffs with Ebix a long, long way in front, leading from all this chasing pack. So Ebix obviously picked it right.
I'd say it's the Ebix first, Jimmy. Fluid in second.
Yep.
Can't quite make out the boat in third with the blue and white chute behind them.
Number 9
Number 9 from the hunt.
from Hornsby Karingai.
Yep. Good to see them back up there today. And then behind we've got a really tight little group together. Just getting run off the course here. So all these 13s on screen, these two 13s on screen are jibing to make their final approach to that bottom mark.
We've got to change the leader up there.
Up the front end of the fleet.
We're trying to get up there. We're just a little bit landlocked out here at the moment with the bomborers.
So to me, as we look up the fleet, do we think that the Eric's storage has got to the front there, hub?
Well, yeah, whoever, I can't see who that one is, but he crossed. Yeah. He crossed them.
However, also on the right-hand side, it looks like the Cunningham straight over here has made some good gains as well.
It's very shifty, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that flick to the right as well maybe took this point out of action a little bit. There we go.
Found the gap and got us out of there.
Good work, Jimmy.
So it looks like they've all headed across to the right-hand side a tiny bit earlier. There's the Ivy who will lead around the bottom. So I think now that the Erics are definitely in the lead, and I'd say the Cunninghams and the NHS with the Ivy are pretty close to second and third. Really, actually, it's a cool six-way battle for second at the moment.
Typhoon's right up there now.
Yeah.
See that?
They rounded the bottom mark about sixth double. Just so the Erics there, they're just sitting a little bit there, but as we come into this top mark, there is a bit of right-hand pressure coming out of Stall Bay. But there's also some good pressure pushing out of Manly.
That's a controlled backburn for the people at home on middle head there.
Actually, I think it's Steve Bowen. He told me he was going to send me some smoke signals today. The Erics just managed to catch that sort of northerly slant coming out of Manly, and they're actually going to connect well into this little puff coming out of here, so the ridge might even get a little bit richer here.
Typhoon's in a screamer too out there, look.
It's a tough little corner to come up into here, isn't it, Hubble? You know, the land that's so close around it can really affect the breeze that's coming through. Really almost got to take the mark out of it, and then when you do hit a ley line, take it.
Well, I think the Typhoon's probably in second now.
I think it's going to be pretty tight between them and the Cunninghams, but I think you could be well correct.
He's got the Cunningham.
No, well in front, aren't they?
Yeah. And he's going to come in on the right angle. He'll do well.
Yep.
So
He'll be second.
big change of lead here. So the Eric's just about going around the top mark here, as you can see on screen, which is the old Imey. The boat was the old Imey.
I think they only got it a few weeks ago, didn't they, Jimmy?
Yep, and they've been doing plenty of training, so get it up and get on down there for the finish. And they looks like they've got a little protest flag flying on the Erics as well, I just noticed.
I was about to ask you that. They still use protest flags?
Apparently, yes, Pete.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Next around, Typhoon, Nathan Wilmot, Zach Barnabas and Malcolm Page. What a recovery from those guys.
Great.
That was brilliant.
It's a nice set from the boys there too. Then the Cunninghams coming in. They'll be pretty excited being up here. Next in, Tribeca.
Tribeca from the St George Club with Keegan York on board. Next around, Imey. Then NHS will follow them right. right behind, and then Botany Access, then Noakes Blue.
Young Ben Bradley, he's a good little steer, eh? He's very underrated. Rebecca.
Yeah, yep.
He's been around the class for quite a while now too.
And young Rory up the bow.
Yeah, he has been. Yeah, he's got Keegs on board.
Yep, well, James is out injured, so he's...
Keegs will be happy with this.
Is Keegs ever happy?
He'd be happy with this.
As we look down here at the moment, though, it does seem that this breeze has clocked around quite a bit. They're almost driving about 50 metres afterwards and pointing exactly up the finish line. It's taking out any possible gains you can make downwind, unless you get a boomer. As we see the Noakes Blue or Noakes Development driving early to try and take advantage of that.
We got coming around the marquee falling on the screen.
That's the Sutherloo and then the Zomi, so Andrew Chapman and Zoe Dransfield. So here we go. There's the boat currently sitting in about 3rd or 4th position. Might pan around a little bit further to our right if we can, Rob, and we'll pick up the Typhoon, which is currently sitting in 2nd. With the Eric's extending a bit further towards the western side of the course, who've just thrown in possibly their last drive on their approach to the finish. The Eric's here have taken a semi-dangerous position, I'd say, sitting so parallel with it. Actually, they've got a really good lead there as we have a look on the drone. So that's the Typhoon closest to us on the screen. And there's the Erics with a wide chute down the bottom.
Just cutting their way through the 13 fleet there, and very tight in the 13s, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, the
Ebix has launched, but
the Ebix has long gone in this one. However, this number 9 is pretty close with the Bartley, the Cybercheck group.
Alright. He's pulled away.
He's extended away down here, hasn't he?
By a long way. Look at the angle he's going compared to Typhoon.
This is Hubble next to me is just having a quick look just out the front of us. We've got the top. It's an interesting dive there from the Typhoon on screen. They really jived in a bit of a hole there. Looks like the hard part of this course downwind, Hubble, is to get over to this west hand side. It's very easy being on port tack. The starboard tack looks like a bit of trouble.
And this is the finish down here, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess he's had to do something a bit different to try and catch him.
Well, he's got a good bit of pressure above him if we have a look at ourselves out the left window. And he should just be able to just wait till this hits him and then do a nice little dive through the finish. He might even get down there with the pressure coming through. So we didn't quite see how they jumped to the front, but it looks like they're pretty slippery through the water today, doesn't it? Nice and smooth. It's a lovely jive.
Beautiful.
That was a lovely jive, wasn't it? There you can.
I wonder what the protest flag's all about.
Hey, you were pretty good in the protest room, Hubble. What do you think it could be for?
Well, it wasn't one of the
very
ones.
popular win with Tinny blowing the horn.
Start because they just fired the gun.
So as we look back up this course now, we got the Cunninghams on screen. And the Cunninghams, the Cunninghams have managed to get to leeward of the Typhoon. Oh, sorry,
No.
I've got that totally wrong. I'm looking at the wrong boat in the wrong
There's the
position.
Cunninghams.
So the Cunninghams are looking very, very like they're going to grab a second here, coming in on starboard.
This is Tribeca aiming straight at us.
Get smashed.
So Cunningham second. We've got the Typhoon pushing through, and they should be very tight. With if the Tribeca can make it, they'll be close. But the flogging of the chutes let them down. So Typhoon third. The Tribeca make it around here. Yep. There's a fourth for them. Amy coming in fifth. And HS sixth. So it's an interesting one there for the Amy, isn't it? You know, they got to the lead. It's still a keeper, I think, a fifth up from what we can see here.
Yeah, they're very consistent, aren't they?
Yeah, that actually may be one of their worst results today, isn't it, Jimmy?
Their worst so far is a 6th, so so Amy current scorecard is a 4, 6, 2, 4
and the
and a
Noakes
5th.
kids coming through the line.
Great result there for the Noakes development, or Noakes Blue as we've been calling it. They've great start off the pin and managed to get a top 10 result. It's a really good result for them. Botany Access.
And we've got Red Pumps, Bruce Savage coming down.
Closely followed by the Moonin, Outback Marine. The two cousins seem to be stuck together today, Georgia and Ruffy. But however, below them, it's going to be quite a close finish here for quite a few of these boats. We've got the Musto as well, and the Southerly.
Well, the Moon's done remarkable to get up to there.
Yeah.
Paulie, you start with Dan Turner, Ruffy. When he looks back at this,
Yep.
what's your thoughts? What's he going to be thinking?
Well, I think as soon as he gets across this line, he's going to start thinking about the next race.
Yep.
Those boys are very good at shutting everything off. However, the one
There's
thing,
Nozomi, who was in second.
Yeah.
Something's happened up that track, hasn't it?
I think, you know, Ruffy's just had his second kid this year. I know that he's been putting a bit more focus on his family, and he hasn't had the time to dedicate to this as he did during the big year that they managed to win. And it's just those little things, I think, that from speaking to them, you know, just not quite clicking into modes as quickly as they should. I know in a few of the races, they've sort of told us that they got the Noakes coming
The
through
Noakes
here.
coming through now across the finish line, just driving through the finish line. So they won't be happy, but that'll be a keeper, unfortunately, for them at this
Well,
stage
if
with
we
a 32.
Yeah.
And then Red Pumps Red, Tyler Dransfield just coming on in.
So now we've got the Ebix coming down to the finish line. They've created a lovely big gap between themselves. Also, this breeze does appear to have kicked a little bit, doesn't it, Hubble? And shifted around to the right slightly.
Yeah, it has a bit.
We'll probably have a little bit of a course rejig between now and the next race, but
The Noakes definitely need that little bit of extra breeze to get that thing up and going, don't they?
yeah. Well, I think if you get buried a little bit in that light stuff too, it just compounds it a little bit more too, doesn't it?
Very hard to get back.
Yep, but Ebix with Gemma Hopkins and James Hopkins on board here from the Manly 16-foot Skiff Club. Have absolutely brained the 13s today, haven't they?
Yeah, I'm just having a look back up for where second is. It looks to be the Fluid with their bright chute sort of up. Probably they're a good 3 minutes ahead, I'd say, at the moment. Here they go across the line. Another great result for that team.
I'm just going to reverse back here, Paulie, with that breeze going right. There's a lot of blokes that have
That's a huge win.
well and truly overcooked the bottom mark, haven't they?
Yeah, massively. So the CMC, the Skelcon, Tugara and the PJ Leahy have all got themselves probably 100 metres too far past the line.
Look, that's something that happens, you know, and it's something that should never happen because you can't afford to do that,
No.
you know.
Well, I mean, for these guys, they've probably just made, you know, this Chubbs, the Sutek, and the Capital Brewing, they've probably just made 5 spots.
That's right.
Purely because of somebody else's mistake there, isn't it?
You've got to consider that it's going to happen and put yourself in a position where you can capitalise on it happening.
Yeah.
CMG just pipped the Sutek, Paulie.
It's not good for me. But Is it something that you used to notice when you're going upwind though, Hubble? You go, hey, we've spent a lot more time on port tack up this one, so we're going to spend a lot more time on starboard on the run, or?
That wasn't something I sort of thought much about. I left that to the skipper or the shoot down, whoever I was with. I used to say, if I've got to tell them what to do, I've got the wrong people. But no, what Lou was a specialist at, he would come around that top mark, he'd always put a jibe in halfway down to cover that situation.
Yep.
And then he could attack from both directions, you know.
Yep.
And the amount of times it used to pay off, you lose count on it. And you just can't get down to the ley line and have a breeze change. You're dead.
Yep.
You know, I guess it falls into that percentage type sailing, doesn't it?
Yeah, course management.
Yeah.
There's the second 13-foot skiff with that very fluorescent yellow, being the fluid, being young Donnie Rollerson.
That first 13, 1 miles, eh?
Yeah.
And
Mate,
this is the fluid.
Yeah, this is a fluid. Like Clint still sponsors these guys, and you know, he gives them a lot of feedback and bits and pieces, which is great. Like,
And I think the next one we've got coming down, they may have overcooked this bottom mark by a tiny bit. Is number 9.
Yep.
That blue and white spinnaker.
yeah, it's a blue and white.
So I think
Predominantly blue spinnaker there on that shot with the white stripe in it. Yep, just see it sort of centre of screen. Beautiful.
that little one. So they're going to be really tired on this pin mark here coming in, whereas the Bartley slightly above them. If we just get John, should just be able to sail a nice VMG run in here, and it could get quite close if the Bartley needs to flog their chute like they are now on screen.
One thing I'm noticing, Paulie, like just watching other boats around, like the guys that are, like the white spinnaker there on screen now, they've only just got into this little bit more east breeze. It's very localised down this western side of the race course.
Ooh. Yep.
The fire stopping.
Fire stopping about to come on screen. One of the boats that had to drop their chute early to get across the finish line.
Yep, with number 9 rocketing in over the top of them.
Great result for the number 9, third. So next for them is the Bartley with the Plonk, I believe should be the next one after that. The Plonk taking the low lane in here as well for the 13s.
And there's the Plonk on screen.
I think that just above them could be the blue chute. Got a strange feeling could be the Botany Scout. No, it's the Cybertech group. Cybertech group. So another good result for the Cybertech if they hopefully get down here.
Hopefully get down here. Got to get down here.
I've had a bit of a spill at this point in a race like this, Jimmy. There's quite a few photos of someone on this boat who got me going a long way around the front of a forestay. Yeah, when he was a photographer. When he wasn't too busy clicking buttons. So nice tight finish between the Plonk and the Cybertech group. Looks like the Plonk's just going to get it. Command Flew, our handicap leader, coming through.
Sheds crossing the line with Fireball close behind. Next boat looks like it's number 40. Unfortunately, I don't have the weather text, and then just there in the background is Shearline, which is going to be a close finish with the 13-foot skiff number 40. We just don't have the numbers beside me. Number 40 is Cheeky, Zachary Wyatt.
It's got the 4X on screen coming down to the finish.
And that's Skiff Ropes, the yellow one, the yellow spinnaker, Paulie. That's what I've been calling No Sense all week, and, which is Amy Hargrave, James Hargrave, and Tommy Stanbury.
Okay. Does have no sense written on it.
Yes, but I did ask in the club the other night when they flashed on screen, I've gone, are they entered or not to Tinny, like the president in the Labour? And he goes, oh, they're now called skiff ropes.
Okay.
So I'm looking on our cheat sheets and I see skiff ropes written there and I'm going, well, that does make sense now because we haven't mentioned them at all. So,
But they've had a bit of screen time, which is good.
yes.
Got the old brand sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. There's the Manly sailing coming to the finish line close. They should get there pretty comfy.
It's good to see some people still getting creative with their shoots.
And there is on screen, we have the Botany scaffold and Duchess Amy Bentley with the blue spinnaker. Two all-female crews on those two boats, so which is fabulous to see.
In the 13s, it appears there could be more female skippers than male skippers, which I think is a great thing.
Mate, I think it's awesome, and some of the, as you know, some of the good female skippers that have jumped in the back of some of the 16s. They're
I've had the pleasure of sailing with quite a few good skippers in the 16s. Sarah Lee's one of them. Wouldn't mind sailing a race with Zoe Dransfield with the way she's going this week.
After your last performance sailing, Paulie, I think you're safer here on the camera cat.
Oh, thanks, Jimmy. So are you saying that I'm quite good at this, or I was quite bad sailing last time? I'm not sure if it's a compliment or a...
It's a 50-50, mate. I think if us three blokes on here ever hopped on board a boat again, like I know you're young enough and you offer to help out, and you're good with all the young guys, which is fabulous to see. But
I can tell you I feel it for a week afterwards these days, though.
Yep. Well, me and Hubble, we still feel it from 20 years ago.
Yeah, it does happen. I sailed with Claire Hozak a lot down in George's River.
I actually got to have a chat to her on Tuesday.
Yeah, and she steered the boat when Napa was away and whoever else we had in those days. I don't think we ever lost a race with her steering.
She told me that sailing with you on that boat, you never got worse than third in any race.
Well, we nearly won a few weeks to the States in
I think
400, I think it was.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the QED Environmental Services just finishing. And then live wire from the Hornsby Karingai just coming across the line.
So, and then I think as we look up the course, there's one red spinnaker coming down.
In the 13s, yep.
Yeah, they've lit up coming from Grotto. It looks like they may struggle to make it with the shoot still.
Yeah, they are on screen. We're trying to figure out who they might be.
Quite good today, having the timing of the races. They've timed the 13s finish quite well with the 16s.
Yeah, the race committee have done an amazing job, so kudos to them.
I think it'd be quite a difficult one with the change in different boat speeds as well as the difference in start times. I report.
Yeah, there's young blacks.
So let's see, I'm just trying to see the side of this boat sail so we can figure out who it is for everybody at home. We're just trying to zoom in on our screen here to have a look.
$27 or $37? No, 37's already crossed, haven't they?
Who have you got there, Jimmy?
Black Cat, I reckon it is my pick.
They've come across the line now.
Number 27, the Black Cat. There you go, from
Good result.
Hornsby Karingai. So another one done and dusted. So for the viewers at home, Jack Andrew will be working mighty hard right now to get the results up and running, and we'll let you know when they're up on the SKIFF website, which again, Chits, what was that? It was manlyskiff.com.au for the when the results come up there, and that'll take into effect a drop. They're just changing the course here, so we'll have a little bit of downtime in between.
So the Cunningham's on screen there. Great result for the boys in that last 1 second. It's easily their best result of the regatta.
Yeah,
That new mast doing wonders for them. I'm sure that's what it had to be. Couldn't have been a nice day off, and I'm sure they would have given the bar a real good run, those boys, on Tuesday night.
proud dad moment, Chits. Didn't get a first. It's hard to please Chits with his son Alex on the sheet on the Cunninghams.
Nice looking boat.
There's the Moon and Yachts.
A little bit disappointed in that last one, I think.
But yeah, don't forget, Paulie, they came back. And that's probably just Ruffy and more so probably Gus, just with their overall race management, giving us a wave there. So at least it's all happy on board.
Matty Stenner's always happy.
Happy little Katut.
NHS, better result in that one for the boys. They'll be a little bit happier. So,
Soso, I've just been sent a message. It's Store Beach, not Store Bay, and to tell Sausage. So it's actually Little Manly Cove is what it is.
okay. They give you words of wisdom.
From the Craig Nichols. Who else?
I had a very strong feeling it was coming from him.
Who was the genius that come up with the gigaliters?
Jody Shields.
Jody Shields.
Yeah.
We're just saying we just need to know how many Olympic swimming pools that is, Jody Shields. If you're there's some homework for you.
There you go.
Now where we're moving to, this will probably play more into the guys from Middle Harbour's hands, won't it?
Yeah.
Going further up the creek with a ship movement not far away. Rep Pumps there on screen with probably one of their better results for this week. I think by their standards, very disappointing series, Paulie, with Bruce Savage.
Yeah. I mean, those guys came in with such high hopes.
Yeah.
It is a bit of a catch. It is a bit of a catch-22 when you do all the training and you have been doing so well at the club. That there almost is that expectation on you to do well at these big regattas, and then trying to keep your head in it after a couple of bad results can be quite difficult. But as we sort of alluded to, for them now, they'll be looking for kind of get some really good results. You know, we might see them take a few flyers to go for a couple of wins, I reckon, if they get the opportunity.
We need a fair bit of bruise, don't they? A bit like their nose. Don't they?
No, you got they're like
Any boat with Jay Harris on it can't be heavy.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what Jay's still on it, eh?
He's about 45 kilos wringing wet.
Okay, the viewers at home, the 16 results are just uploading as we speak, so able to jump on there and get an update of who's who at the zoo, and with the drop coming in, who is going to be the leader. And there's the address on screen, so visit the Manly 16-foot Skiff Club website for the information, www.manly16s.com.au, and for all the results.
Well, probably, Jesus, what's a bowling ball, mate?
Brett.
Well, they're a lot heavier than you think, actually. Probably about 15 kilos, I reckon.
What's that? The weight of your head?
Yeah, Napo reckons it was about that. He said, Hubble, swing the head of lead out there.
I believe Jerry Maguire, we were told the human head weighs 4.5 pounds.
4.5 pounds.
It's not that much, is it?
It wasn't light when I was born, that's for sure. It's about, what was it, 9 pounds tall.
I've got a little boy that's only 18 months old, Hubble. He's got he and you covered. I think he cracked the 10 pounds, my little one.
Wow. I was the heaviest at 6.
There's the Airmix on screen. Got the yellow jackets on with the first. It's the kind of thing you want, don't you?
I might want to sew them onto them.
Yeah.
What happens if you're...
That's a big call.
What happens if someone
really-
else wins and there's 2 races in the one day and you don't go on the shore? Do they swap out there?
I'm sure that you would have wanted to have swapped out there, Hubble. No,
Give me
it's,
that yellow jacket.
it's a leader at the beginning of the day.
Okay. That makes sense.
You can come back Sunday and wear it if you like, Hubble.
Yeah, okay. As long as it's not green.
You're a superstitious sort of guy?
Well, I wasn't, but it's sort of, everyone I started with was very superstitious about it. Except one guy, I can't remember who that was.
My mother's very superstitious about it. So when I had my flying 11s when I was younger, I remember Glenn Bianco actually put a green rope on it. My mum saw it. She went up and cut it and pulled it off. Didn't know that it was the Vang. Went out for a sail that day.
Vang.
Not much fun.
Heidi used to just search everything. Your socks, your shoes, anything that was green would be dispersed, gotten rid of.
There's the winner of Heat 6, or Race 6 on screen there. And the 13 results are uploading as we speak, just getting comms through from Jack Andrews. So thanks, Jack, for getting it all done. And there you go. And there's these boys will be extremely ecstatic with themselves, and especially where we've moved the course to.
Where they moved the course.
Moved a little bit further back into Middle Harbour. We're right now between Middlehead and Grotto Point. So
Peak of the tide.
peak of the tide.
So for the viewers at home, the breeze has kicked probably 2 knots across the course. It's also shifted about 15 to 25 degrees to the right. So we're getting sort of an east northeasterly down here in the bay now.
Looking at some flags that they're putting up there. Course 1.
Be nice. An upwind finish would be good on this one. A bit closer to the club.
2 laps. Orange flags going up shortly. What's that course? 060? 080? Yep. So we're probably at the peak of the tidal flow now. It's like the
It's a big tide too, isn't it?
yeah. Oh, it's a metre. It's not huge, but still enough water moving.
reckon they giggle off. The gigalites. I reckon it's affected by the high and the low tides.
Definitely. Definitely.
I had a guy once with an outboard motor. He reckons if he lifted his bow up in the outboard, he would go faster. I said, no, but it's pushing on the tide. It doesn't make any difference. The water you're pushing on is actually moving the currents. He couldn't get it.
You didn't quite understand speed over ground and speed over water.
No. Just convinced.
All the competitors here coming in to ping the line.
Set up their instrumentation.
Grab one.
So not long off the start for the resale of race 1 of the 16-foot skiff national titles, hosted by the Manly 16-foot Skiff Club. And just overhearing some radio chatter with that ship movement due to depart at 4 o'clock. They've decided to put us on a course 2, try and get us finished as soon as possible. I think you'll find it may be a lure, but I'll wait for Jack to get some comms to me. And there you go, there's all the boats back and forth, looking up into Manly, and that's North Head to the top right of your screen.
So course 1 is a downwind finish still, Jimmy?
I think so.
And then with 2 laps.
I'll read the sailing instructions after the event, mate.
I'm generally not winning, so I don't have to worry about it too much, Jimmy.
Well, Rob Napper used to take care of all that business for me, and whoever was steering, like, Joe was methodical about it, but all I had to do was I had to be the dumb bloke in the middle and just pull the ropes.
So I only ever had to arrange to look at courses at Drummoy, because Steve said that was too much work.
There's our beer sponsor, Capital Brewing. We keep plugging you. Where is it?
Is there anything Rob Napper can't do?
Snap, mate.
Yeah.
He's good. He's gold.
He's good, isn't he?
He's
He just fits in being a fireman amongst all that.
yeah, works for New South Wales Fire and Rescue. That's his daytime job.
He was up my way there working out of Regatta for a while, and we had a few fires. I had to ring him for some advice.
What, how to start them or how to put them out?
How to put them out. Yeah. Ended up 2 in 2 days. I joined the local Bar Point Community Fire Brigade. Still waiting on my uniform, but I fought them with thongs and a t-shirt, but I've been to 2 so far.
I think they're just trying to find a helmet up for you, aren't they?
Here we go to signals. It's 5 minutes. Yeah, they're just trying to get enough of the plastic and resin together to make a helmet to fit over your head.
Yeah. I'll tell you another funny story about that. Went to get a motorbike helmet once and I couldn't get one that fitted, and the guy, my mate was with me, he does a big plant pot and he says, how about we use that? It was gold.
So who are you liking in this race, guys? It's
We'll give Hubble the first crack this time, I think.
Thanks very much. Which is the 13, I think they might win it.
that E-Big, so
yeah, that 13, that
pretty
one,
electric.
he was awesome.
I'm going if we're looking at the 13s, I'm going with the a big pushback from the Botany scaffolding. They'll be a bit disappointed.
Yeah.
And we've seen them up the top end of the field quite a few times.
And in the 16s, that's what we're here at the moment. That we're coming up to 4 minutes.
I'm jumping on the Moonin.
Jumping on the Moonin.
Yeah, I think these breezes just kicked through enough for them to hit their top speeds, and I'm looking forward to the boys getting a good result in this one.
Very short course. I'm just looking up to where it is. I was like, wow.
Yeah. What about you, Jimmy?
Look, I think Imey. I think the disappointment of leading that one will be enough motivation for me to be on them.
Yep. But I think the Noakes will push back through in this one with this little bit of extra breeze too. Sort of looking a lot like Tuesday as I look up this course at the moment.
Yeah, well, and it's enough weight of pressure here for Big Pete Mackey to get angry.
Engage the shoulders.
Engage the shoulders. So, yeah, I think you're right, mate. I think they're a darkie. Hubble, come on. Who are you on?
Well, I'm going to go for the same three I went for this morning. A little bit more wind now.
Yep.
So, Typhoon.
Sail racing?
Not sail racing. Might be a bit too much wind now for them. I'm going to go.
They're pretty good at changing gears, so.
Yep. Imey. And Noonan. How's that?
Yep. I'm going to chuck Sail Racing and Red Pumps Red in there for myself.
Yeah?
Yep. No, I only had one first up. I've got someone whispering in my ear, I had 5.
We've got 50 entries, Paulie, if you want to keep going.
Well, if I could have them all, I'd be guaranteed, wouldn't I? Yeah, the Red Pumps Red on screen. This is a boat that I think's, look, what we've seen earlier in the season from them, as well as what we saw at the States, I think they're too classy not to get at least a podium in this regatta.
Podium overall, or?
No, just in a race.
In a race, okay.
I think they managed, did they jag a second or third on Tuesday, I believe, in one of them, but I think they're due for a good hit out back.
Got a 4th the other day.
So yeah, so they still got to get it. Just push a little bit further. If they get off this start line, they are a boat that could just put a big distance on people with the amount of boat speed we've seen previously.
127 to go.
What end of this line do you like in the look
and just up here at the boat, Red Pumps, the main boat is just capsized with a minute 10 to go, but there's enough time for him to get up. But always rattles you, doesn't it?
And you've also got a chute full of water up the first work. Just slows you down a little bit more as well.
The 1 minute sound signals.
Looks like the sail racing is setting up for a possible port tacker down in there. Not many boats down at the pin. We might find they just might bear away and do a late approach on port, and just so they can pick their spot on starboard and make sure that they get the pin to themselves. Imey down at the pin, Typhoon, SKE Electrical, Noakes Development again down there.
All the notables.
You can just see the fluid just pushing through there as well.
Cunningham's up here.
Red Pumps Red are looking nice for the boat, but they've got an Eric's Removals just ripping in on them. They look to be pushing a little bit early there, don't they, Hubble?
Which one?
The whole fleet.
All of them. Couple in the middle.
General
so
recall.
Up this end, yeah.
So it's a general recall for the viewers at home.
Red pumps are like that.
Not a great start for the Red Pumps there, was it? So I wouldn't be surprised with this shipping movement coming through if we do go to the black flag a little bit earlier. I know a lot of people won't like it, but it wouldn't surprise me.
But as you're seeing, the bulge in the line there, it was right where the tide, like the part that's exposed to the tide here. So,
well, you could just see up this end too, Jimmy, that a lot of these boats who were trying to start on the boat all got crowded out.
And not on, or probably just at the top of screen, is the red pumps have just launched their spinnaker to get that water, get that spinnaker dry.
Smart from the guys.
Very good boat smarts. There they are on screen. They're not heading to Middle Harbour Skiff Club or anything.
So, just from that start as well, it did look like the guys off the pin were favoured in terms of angle.
Yep.
However, with the tide pushing these boats off a bit harder off the boat, they just seem to have lifted out on them a little bit. So, Huey and his team have done a good job with their starting line there in my mind.
Yep, and the first substitute flag down. So, inside 6 minutes to the 5 minute. Or inside a minute, sorry, I should say, to the 5 minute.
Everyone's been pretty well behaved too and getting back towards his start line nice and early.
And this resale of Heat 1 is in honour of Matana. Billy McMahon and all the boys, I'm sure, will be down tomorrow for...
I think Willie's round there again today.
Yeah, Willie can't help himself. Willie Morrison can't help himself.
Sorry, walking along the Esplanade this morning.
He
hasn't left from 30 years ago.
There we go, 5 minutes.
How much is it on? 60? Yeah, no, leave it up there. Okay.
The table of knowledge has got a fair workout this week down at the Skiff Club, hasn't it?
I don't know, Paul, you haven't been down there.
Oh.
What's this table you talk about? I've got a memorial table down there for Terry O'Keefe, which is the top. You might be confusing it with. But yeah, I hope everyone's enjoying the all these pictures that we're bringing you live and ad-free. And thanks to the Manly 16-foot Skiff Club for entrusting us to bring this coverage to you. Black flag, as you said, Paulie, the black flag has been raised. So this will be a black flag start. So you're over, you're over. You're out.
That'll sort them out, won't it?
Oh, yes, that is right, isn't it? The Suchek boys on screen.
With that run out tide, it'd be difficult too to start.
Yeah. As I look back up the course, as we're just waiting for this start, I still, as this probably clicks around a bit further into the east, it makes it a little bit more difficult. However, the left-hand side of this course will be a lot flatter. In terms of slop around the course, this right-hand side is where the chop sort of runs out. So it's a bit of a trade-off. Do you want your big bit of tide assistance, or do you want to sail in flat water? In my mind, I'm always a bit of a flat water kind of guy. These things love it. You can tell that little bit higher groove and it's a little bit more consistent. So I'd expect to see everybody sort of head to that left-hand side again.
2 minutes 20, and everyone is a long way back at the moment. Which once you see that angry flag being put up, the black flag, you don't want to be anywhere near the line to start with, do you?
No, it's any time you're over inside the last minute,
yep.
Gone. And with this tide, you could easily get pushed up there if some people wanted to sort of play a little funny buggers with you. A minute 40 to go. With the way these guys are lining up, I think they might still be a little bit early here. These are boats that it's quite hard to, almost sit still with. So
Well, I'm actually having to engage reverse on our engines to
Go in the one spot.
yeah, to try and stay down.
Yeah.
So, black flag coming down here. So anyone that's over from now, Paulie, to when the start gun goes,
Early
is,
schooners.
early shower.
Where are they all this time?
So all
Up
of
this end.
everybody seems to have more fancy boats in the fleet, or all seem to be a little bit more set up at this boat end this time.
And Konami's awfully close to the.
I'd say the Konami are almost a guarantee here. Well, no, they're going for a
Hopefully
nice
she can run
duck
down
away.
and find a hole.
Moonan's
Young Bethany.
working hard to try and win the boat at this end. But below them, they've got the
24
Typhoons, the
seconds to
Erics,
go.
the Noakes. I'd say the Moonan's in a little bit of trouble.
He's in all sorts,
Yeah. Especially with Nathan Wilmot just below him.
Yeah. He's not going to get further, is he?
Moonan. Watch Gussie, Big Matty Centre will jump up there soon and hit the reverse button. It's the orange flag on top of the mast. So the Moonan might have just saved it there.
I don't know how he held that up, but
But the
on one side.
Typhoon did a great job popping out just
Yeah.
below them. PJ Leahy here is just a bit further
Great
up
start.
to the
That
start.
was-
Moonan, Typhoon and Erics, I'd say, would have the pick of the boat with the SKE electrical just below them with a bit of clear air. If the Moonan can live there, Hubble, they're going to do all right, aren't they?
He did well to stay back there. I didn't think.
Yeah, he did a great job. It was brilliant. However, unfortunately, Nathan looks to have just clicked it into that Heimer trying to shoot him out the back, doesn't he? I mean, Nathan will almost stop his boat going up there, won't he, to try and clear his air and make sure the Moonan doesn't get over him. Down the pin end, the Tugaras had a great start. The Skelcon boys, Moonan's bailed out there off the start. The Skelcon boys probably won the pin and they're taking the left-hand side into there. We're about to pop out onto screen. One of the rock stars from the last race, the Cunningham's also heading out to the left-hand side of this course with the Dominoes, who did so well in this heat's first sail last night. I think we'd all like to see them carry a great result in this one, wouldn't we, the Dominoes?
Absolutely, like they.
They deserve it more than
They
any
do.
other boat in the
Yeah.
play.
Yeah.
And then I'm not too sure the little half moon boat there is almost like the Apple symbol. Middle Harbour.
Yeah, that is Kamikaze from Middle Harbour.
They've had a great start off the pin there. And they've got a few nice little lines coming through here too for them to try and jump back out of.
And I've just got word through from the start boat. Konami black flagged.
Yeah, I was about to-
Sherry.
I was about to ask that earlier if they actually signal if you're over or not. It's only if it's a general, isn't it, with a black flag? If they can identify everyone, they let it go and you just sail the whole race without knowing.
Yeah.
Sometimes they do pull them out at the top mark so they don't affect the race too much, but I think sometimes that's got to be in the sailing instructions. So we got the drone there picking up the boats that have extended all the way over to the left-hand side. You can see the line, the mighty camera cut through the fleet there. We're sitting just up above the fleet ourselves now, trying to get a good view. For all of
Something's
you
happened
looking
on
back.
board Domino's, sort of mid-screen there.
Oh. It looks like to me, Jimmy, possibly they just got caught by a starboard attacker there.
Drone coming down. Straight there, bottom right. Carry on, keep going.
So on screen there, we got the Cunninghams coming back across. They were one of our leaders from the left-hand group. Just trying to look out the window myself and see what I can see, just to try and fill you all in. So this is, I've just been pointed out the top mark. It is a very short work. And it is a long way further in the right. So it's to the right. The top mark is out in the heads this time, just inside North Head. So the Skelcon here, having a good race. I'd say they'd be the leader on the racetrack at the moment.
I'll go closer. Got a bit of traffic here to. Look, they've just pinned the ears back here, Paulie. They'll be fine.
We haven't seen too much of the Skelcon hit this week. However, they are a bunch of past 16 national champions in Henry Macon, his two brothers. So if we can see them get some clear air, we may see them get a good result here. They're taking this nice line back to the point at the moment, and there is a lot of good pressure in this left-hand side. Now we are a few of sort of all the way over the other side of the course, which we sort of are trying to get on screen now. We have the Moon and the Typhoon, the Sail Racing, the Imey, Red Pumps Red. Is that the Chigara?
Yep.
Out sort of leading that pack, and the SKE Electrical.
Yes.
They're the right-hand bunch that have gone out in search of a bit of tide on that over that side of the course, and we really won't know which side's going to pay until they come back together close towards the top up here. So the Sail Racing, up the centre of the course is sort of the Sail Racing and the Notes. And the Notes looks up that, found that boat speed that they had 2 days ago back, just sort of sailing away from the boat in front of them and sort of clicking into a high groove and sailing around the bow of the Sail Racing above them. What are your thoughts on those boats out on the right, Jimmy? Are we liking it, or are they sort of feel they're pushing the wrong direction at the moment?
Well, I think you've got to, the way you look at it, Paul, is, you know, I think these guys coming up here were looking for a little bit of the northeast bend.
Yep.
These guys down here, because the breeze has been clocking right, they're searching for a little bit more right down that way.
Yeah.
You know, that'd be what I'm thinking is going on there. Like,
I think it's almost going to come into it, Jimmy. What breeze is on this top mark when they approach it? If it has got that right phase in it, we may see the guys on the right really dominate. However, if it is that little bit of northeast pushing through at the top mark, then these left guys, I think, could be long gone from them.
Yep, for me, the guys over here on the left appear to be closer to the top mark.
That's what I'm feeling at the moment. They're looking nice and high out in that right-hand side at the moment, though, aren't they?
Yep.
So the leader of that right-hand group, the SK Electrical.
There's the fire stopping, having a bit better of a race so far.
These guys out in this left-hand side, I don't think have found that bit of northeast that we are looking at, or just yet, have they?
No, it's sort of a...
I think possibly people thought these top mark might have been a bit further north than it was. And if it was, then they definitely would have caught that breeze coming out of Little Manly Cove.
Some blokes behind us, behind the camera boat.
They've got it, don't they?
I think they figured out, oh, you guys are going over there, for what reason?
Unfortunately, I think if the boat's behind us now and they catch it, they're going to almost be setting shoots into the top mark. I think it's going to be really tight, actually. So that's the SKE Electrical on screen. They've got the Moonin just sitting off their hip there, with the Typhoon just sitting above them. I think you get a little bit more confidence when you've got a couple of gold medals just sitting on your hip in these kind of weird conditions. There's still quite a lot of sailing to get to this mark, however it does appear to be that right-hand breeze does seem to be winning at the moment.
Only ever so slightly though, isn't it, Paulie? So that tells you that the breeze is probably about the same across course.
Yep. However, as we say that, the SKE Electrical's just knocked down and the Moonin's starting to come down with them now as well.
So the Skelcon, for me, are leading there, which we'll just see the cross coming up here with Skelcon and Moon and Yachts.
There's not much in it between. They're the two boats that sort of went the furthest in both directions. They've come out almost the same up the top.
Not on, are they? Just off screen, SKE Electrical keeps lifting down where they are, so
It might
it's
take
still,
a bit.
it's still on starboard. And yeah, as you know, it just means you're sailing around the mark the wrong way, aren't you?
Yeah. So the Skelcon look pretty good at making this at the moment. But I think the SKE Electrical may get a chance to tack inside them here. If they don't get it in front of them, then they're going to take a bit of punishment for all the boats behind them as well.
Oh, easy.
So they've done the right thing here too, just gone a little bit too far so that they can't upset the person behind them. Yeah, and it looks like the Skelcon's got another tack to get up there as well.
Oh, no, Moon and a Noakes behind.
Oh,
Ouch.
It's going to be some fun times for two good mates there. So, SKE Electrical around. Skelcon second, Belmont 1-2, Moonin in third.
There's a late knock I'm noticing, Paulie, on this top mark, so
Just that left pressure, just holding in there. Yeah, all of these boats we thought were on lay have all had to double tack in, haven't they, Jimmy?
yep, so SKE Electrical leading the race from Skelcon to Belmont Chargers going there with Moon and Yachts in third, Noakes fourth, Cunningham's fifth, blinder of a day for the Cunninghams.
Yep.
Typhoon six, Kamikaze, what a race they're having from Middle Harbour. Then you got Sail Racing, Eric's Removals, Tribeca, NHS. Next around was my pick, Imey.
Yep. They're very tight on this mark, the Imey, though, aren't they?
Just got away with
Well done, boys. Got around there nicely.
it. With Capital Brewing chasing right behind. And you got the fire stopping RW Retail, the Queensland boat, young Carlton Smith at the helm. Light and Wonder from Belmont.
Get those fights.
Noakes Development after that great race in the last one.
First of the Red Pumps boats, just around. Red Pumps red.
Now, Hubble, with all these boats heading out to the... Actually, no. What would Lee do in this situation? Do you think if he was back in this sort of pack and he had to work his way back through?
He'd take one back inside.
That's what Ruffy's been doing all week when he's been a little bit deep. Clear your air.
Yeah.
I always think if you've got a boat that might be a bit slower in front of you, they're always going to call you up, or you're going to roll them. They're going to get you on the next jive, aren't they?
You're giving yourself an option to go either way, you know,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
stuck one side or the other. Always go inside of them.
Yeah.
As soon as it shifts, go back at it every time.
Yeah, and it means you're not bouncing around with all these other boats, is it? You just clear your air instantly.
Because they all slow each other down.
Yeah, that's what I reckon.
They've got to go lower, 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 you know.
Steve-O used to call them when doing it round, you know, speed bumps. Even if you catch up to them and you might get past them, they're going to jive on you the next side. They're just going to slow you down no matter what.
The amount of you know, the way you plan coming into your marks is so crucial.
Yep. I mean, that was the one thing I always noticed about Lee. He always used to have sometimes, if he did want to go out this way, he'd almost go 3 boat lengths above it.
Yeah.
So then you just rocket ship over a lot of us.
That's right. With you.
Sometimes even doing a bit of a late set to take that pace and get up a little bit higher.
Another big one too, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's his painted move, isn't it?
It maintain his speed around the top mark. You know, you come out the top mark, they pull it won't stop dead. And then set their chute. Where the chute reach over the top one, set it above them and sail over them. It's
a bit of a 49er move. You've seen them all do that a lot as well. So we've had a bit of movement at the front end of the fleet. The Skelcon's still leading, however apologies.
Boonings have just got underway.
So the Plonk looks to have had a great start off the pin. They're leading the first up. The Evix sitting in second with the Cyber Tech group. Hot on their heels. They're just going round the back of them now. So the 13's on looks to be extending into that Dobroyd point there. The block's actually flat back on top of the ball, and I'd say the Evix is almost back in the lead now already. So this is the SKE coming back to, looks to be quite a tight cross for the Moonin.
And Skelcon there, the three white spinnakers that you can see sort of centre line of your screen.
I don't know if you've been watching at home, Hubble, but this Moonin's been pretty special downwind all week.
Yeah, he's done well on this one, look.
The amount of time that they've taken out of boats that Gus seems to lose for them upwind each day.
Yeah. I'm glad you're saying it.
I'm joking, Gus, don't you worry.
So these Skelcon, they just a little hot.
Interesting to see here what the SK as taking their own mark. Once again.
And the Noakes.
It's an interesting one there from the Moonin boys, choosing to take that left-hand turn.
Noakes did that well.
The Noakes did lovely, didn't they?
Yeah. Coming into marks, there's so much you can gain.
Well, you can even see
But
there.
you're just throwing it away with that problem there, trying to go uphill with the spinnaker up.
Well, that's another one. That's a killer. I mean, when we had Napa originally, it was that light. We didn't use the trapeze light. So our kite had to be down at the mark no matter what. If it wasn't, I'd be on the line no matter what.
Well, yeah, Ruffy never had a trapeze fire either.
Yeah.
I just used to steer for him. The boat never went quicker, mate.
Yeah.
There's the Cunninghams going around the right-hand mark, closely followed by NHS.
So we've got this same split happening again here, Jimmy, where the boats have decided to go right last time, have taken a left-hand turn at the bottom. With the Skelcon, who led round the last time on the left-hand side, they've chosen to go that same direction. So,
Yep. And then Sail Racing just coming around, and then on the other mark, you've got Tribeca, Eric's, and Kamikaze is having probably their best race of their regatta.
Yep, and as well, the Capital Brewing there, they've managed to keep themselves up around this top 10.
Yep, and then Imey for the viewers, they've just gone around now.
Taking a left-hand turn.
Next one around, Light and Wonder from Belmont. With Noakes Blue, probably be the next boat around.
Zomi hot on
Zomi,
their heels.
who they must have probably overstepped the bottom mark because they were coming in very clean. Here comes Red Pumps Red with Fire stopping just behind him and RW Retail.
Great trot from the Red Pumps Red there. Good rounding as well. It's an example of these roundings that Hubble was talking about before on the Red Pumps Red. They're already 2 boat lengths above the boat that went round in front of them.
Same as at Noakes, they did it really well there. They had it drop before and then jogged around it.
We'll go back out over to the left-hand side of the track here.
Yep,
Paulie, and there's the rest of the...
it's a bit of organised
Contenders
chaos
coming
through the
in.
centre there, isn't there?
yeah, it's a bit on.com, isn't it?
So I think from those boats up the top end of the point score, all of them around sort of in that top 15 in this one. So we'll just see how it figures itself out in this shorter course. It's going to be all about how they position themselves from quite early on in this race against their main contenders. There's the employment hero. Will Davala taking a left turn there with the southerly Zoe Dransfield going left.
I'm just looking up course, Paulie.
Yeah,
I think the breeze has gone a little bit more right.
I think it has too, Jimmy.
I'm no genius, but
My one thing is,
It has, yeah.
it still to me does look like there's a nice bit of pressure up in that top left corner though, which sort of shot them all across last time. So
NHS has probably gone the furthest north. We're still on the bottom mark there. We're just repositioning the camera boat.
I will say that I don't think the centre of this course is going to pay. I don't know. In an Eastleigh, it's very easy to get lost in the centre of these courses. Looks like the guys on the right-hand side have almost extended all the way out to lay over there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And these guys are just going to have to wear some punishment, I think, though, to get back across that.
NHS hasn't copped it like as much as
sort of the Cunninghams.
the Cunninghams and so forth. So sort of might just be that midsection of the race course there. So as you see Tribeca tacking out just before the Bombora marks here.
I think if you're going to commit, go left. If you're not going hard right, you better commit to the hard left here, I reckon.
Yeah,
Like-
yeah, and hard.
Yeah.
Like almost back to Manly Skiff Club.
Yeah.
Hard left.
Like, set a shoot into the top mark almost.
There's Kamikaze just tacking. The guy with his Christmas jumper on.
So, we'll see if Keegan's got the stones to sort of head back out to this, because there is really good compression on this point. If you can get to this pressure, I think your boat speed's going to be good enough to stay in it. You might feel like you're going the wrong direction, but at least you're going fast through the water.
Always good to go fast in the wrong direction, Paulie.
Yeah.
And in the 13-foot skiff's first around is Plonk.
We should be able to catch a little bit of them heading down here.
There's Plonk on screen with what looks like Fluid will be in second.
Number 9.
Number 9, and then Ebix. So you put the commentator's curse on that Ebix already, Hubble. It's all your fault,
There you
yeah?
go, see.
I'll give him your address.
It's all
You know
right.
what you need to do here, Jimmy? You need half of this boat on that side of the course and half on this. Then a catamaran.
Well, that's why it's the catamaran, yeah. We put half either side. Glad you weren't a bloody boat designer.
Well, they should all sail the same side of the course so they can see it better.
Maybe you can have a chat to them for us tomorrow.
Yeah, okay.
Here's the Skelcon sort of charging away.
They're not looking too bad at the moment, are they?
Well, that step back up, Paulie, as you alluded to, into that left, like, you know, they've had to pin it pretty hard here.
They're about to go through the transition zone here, though, Jimmy, to possibly that right-hand pressure.
Yeah.
So you can see there now they're just starting to bend away, shoulders lifting up,
And there's the 13s in the background.
and
so
the boat speed's just dropped out of the boat just there, and they're about to hit a new pressure line in front of them in about 5 to 10 seconds, which I'm expecting to knock their bow even further away here. But if they had extended a bit further left, like I said, they would have caught this golden one that we're sitting in. Which, to be perfectly honest, there is one boat out here who did well in the last race, the Cunninghams, who were just having to jump out of the way. Out of the right-hand boats, it looks like the SK Electrical is still leading them. The Moonans managed to jump into second in that pack, back in front of the Noakes, with the Typhoon hot on their tail. And this is the Skelcon, so it's almost identical to what happened last time here, isn't it? They were looking famous. Then they're bow to bow with the SK Electrical and the Moonan.
It's got a good one now.
Sort of just playing both of these breezes off against each other in this last 100 metres to the mark, isn't it, Hubble? Trying to pick which one's going to be more dominant when you get to which part of the course.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised to see both the Moonan and the Typhoon actually push out to this left-hand corner and approach this top mark on port.
just as you say that, Paulie, Typhoon tax.
Well, I'll have a chat to them afterwards.
And the Moonan's tack.
And the Moonan's going with them.
Yeah, it looks like there's a bit better pressure over this way anyway.
Yeah. It's kind of hard with this point up here too. You don't get much clear runway to look at. Oh, they're all a lot closer to the lay than I thought they were too. So the NHS has done well to get back into it over there. They're the NHS has managed to work their way up in front of the Typhoon, up into 5th position. However, we've also got the Cunninghams coming in from the left, which may upset this group a little bit as well.
Currently, SKE Electrical on final approach with Skelcon just above them. Belmont 1-2 here at the moment, which is great to see.
Well prepared, the SKE, to get round that mark, dropping the jib a little bit early.
Yep, Spinnaker chute away. And here you'll see the difference between a Spinnaker chute set and a traditional Windward set.
I think the chute won out on that one.
Yep. Next around the mark is the Moonin Yachts. Daniel Turner in third.
You just can sort of see there too, the SKE Electrical with their slightly better set.
What a set on the Moonin. That was unbelievable, wasn't it?
That was phenomenal.
And then the Cunninghams next around in fourth position.
Good gains from them up that work.
And next around will be the Typhoon in fifth with Noakes sixth.
We're going down to the finish here too, aren't we, Jimmy?
Yes, we are.
Perfect.
And then next around will be NHS with Sail Racing going to have to do two taxi with Eric's close behind and Imey in behind them. But we might get a wriggle on down the course so we can watch the
I think it could be quite tight on this finish at the moment. These two front boats are lifting up into the point with the three boats behind them on a nice line getting a little bit deeper.
Yeah, exactly, Paulie. Like I'm seeing what you're seeing there. It is on the screen.
And you know, these three boats behind, I think, have been traditionally quite quick downhill compared to the other two.
Yep, the SKE Electrical and Skelcon have just hit a bit of a
compression off the point there as they approach the bottom more of that, which is
go bow down.
It's just a transition zone between these two breezes. If I was one of these boats a little bit further back, I'd be looking for a dive out here to get over that other side. Just to give myself a little bit of a point of difference. The boat that I'm expecting to do it is a sail race. These are our 2 leaders on screen. The Skelcon doing a great job working their depth against the SKE here. They rounded the mark and didn't have as good a set, but they're really working hard to get their depth.
There's third place on screen. Moonin.
They're in a lovely puff.
Skelcon not on the screen, have just jived. That's SKE Electrical still rocketing in. A very polite powerboat hitting the brakes. SKE just about to jive here.
Yeah, SKE could get a bit caught up here, couldn't they, with this powerboat cruising down?
Well, the last thing you need is the powerboat to throw the throttles down and try and outrun him. It'd be best just to hang tight for 5 and watch it all go past. And Plonk in the 13s just underneath that shot there, just going behind SKE Electrical. They've extended their lead in the 13-foot skiffs. They're having a blinder.
Yeah, so in the 13s we got the Avix in second. Just for everybody at home, Avix in second, Bartley in third, Fluid at 9.
There's a
nice sight racing for the 13s today, though. So the Skelcon's done well to get their bow forward here. They've given themselves an opportunity here, haven't they, Hubble, by just getting their bow a little bit forward on them. If they get a little bit of pressure, they might be able to soak down and give them a bit of bow down.
He's coming down a little bit, eh?
Which boat would you prefer to be in this situation?
whichever one wins.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
You've got to remember,
I think the one.
Paulie, we've got to keep it simple for the foreign ends.
The SKE, how's that?
Okay. They're swinging hard here. I think the SKE is just really trying hard to get their bow a little bit forward on them, mainly because they're actually running straight towards the finish. There's no more jives left in this for either boat. The SKE's going to push really hard just to get to the thing. Harry Price there, getting his huge shoulders as far out as he can. But I think the SKE's going to be able to slide through for a win here.
There you go, Harry Price. But always confident Harry Price. Well done to SKE Electrical from Belmont.
Great race from those boys.
Then Skelcon will be second from the Belmont Club.
And then we've got the Moonin coming in for third.
I don't know where you are, guys.
And a much better result for the Moonin here from that last race. Good return to form for the boys.
Two Belmont boats, first and second, eh?
Yeah, well, the same as in the first time this race was sailed, it was unfortunately stopped. Two different ones, but
This guy's waving something at this mob. What's that? Pointing at him.
so here now we've got a very tight race coming through between Typhoon and the Cunninghams. Cunninghams, if they can get through for fourth here, will almost be boat of the day, I think.
It's not going to do it, eh?
There we go, Cunningham sneaking through for a fourth. Good
Great
job
day
from
for
those
them.
boys, second and a fourth. That's quite a turnaround. And now Typhoon just driving back onto starboard should come through for a fifth, which is a good keeper for them. And they're nice and tight between the NHS and the Noakes. This is going to be super tight. To me,
Oh, too close to call that one, isn't it?
I'm going the Noakes.
So was that 6, 7?
Sail Racing just
9.
in front of the Erics with the IME. IME have done very well to get back to there from where they were the first
10th.
time round, haven't they?
For the IME?
Super competitive, isn't it?
It's super, super competitive. And this is the other thing we're sort of seeing. It gets to that 10th spot, the whole 10th in each race, and then we sometimes do have a little bit of a break back to
And
this
it's a
next boat.
different bunch of boats every time. It's not like it's the same top 10 hubble. It's
No.
a different top 10.
We're sort of seeing the same 5 boats in there, but they're anywhere from 1st to 10th, and then a bunch of others filling through. What's
But
that?
speaking to a lot of the teams through the week, they're saying you don't get a good start, you don't get a good first tack in, that's your race done. The fleet, they said, is that good, and then when you're back in the pack, you're just not being able to get through. So
Especially
the
with
next
this short port racing.
Yeah, well, it's a bit like the sprints, isn't it? You know, it's so Light and Wonder, the next boat across from the Belmont Club.
11th for them. RW, good race for those boys.
Brilliant race for them. It's probably
Got a-
their.
Got a little bit on here with the Capital Brewing.
But you wait till you see what's coming around the corner here, Paulie. Right at the bottom of the screen there is Kamikaze.
Kamikaze.
With the person
From,
with Jimmy's favourite ration.
Yep. From Middle Harbour. So to me, that's probably it's the handicap winner.
Yeah, they're more the Capital Brewing.
RW. Next across. Who have we got here? We got that'd be Musto on the rider screen, and then Infinity
Rigging
Rigging,
with a few boats coming in.
led by Southerly, Zoe Dransfeld, then Tagara, is it?
Tagara.
Yep, Tagara's next, which means nor'easter. For those wondering what that means, famous name been around since the 50s. Nazomi
Jam.
next across. And the fire stopping
And then
from Manly probably had the race of their day, and Tribeca. Wow, well done.
Tribeca kind of slipped back through the fleet a little bit there, unfortunately.
Nothing like coming in hot, is there, Hubble, at the finish line?
Oh, you just love it, don't you? So who's on the Kamikaze?
That's Richard Williams, Phil Jenkins and Ian Wood.
So that's Phil that I know. Phil.
Yep. And he's
He'd be
Botany
happy.
Access
Phil.
coming to the finish line. Just in front of is the Fluid. Just got across in front of Red Pumps Red.
Then we've got the Shebang coming in tight. We've got the Sutek with 2 jibes on it to get through the finish. Not the greatest jibe from those boys. I'd say the
Shebang beats them,
Yeah.
and then close one between Outback Marine, Georgia Clancy and Domino's, with Napes Blue next home.
they're really ripping through the start line now, aren't they? Finish line.
Yep, Employment Hero next across, and here comes Red Pumps, just pipping Chubbs across the line. And next across is Fireball.
But, so we're just trying to look up the course for everybody now and pick up the 13s. So the 13s, the Plonks currently winning. So I think we're just going to zoom a little bit up the course here and try and catch the end of this 13 race coming towards the finish, aren't we, Jimmy?
Yeah, mate, that's the plan.
Plonk's scouted a fleet here, haven't they? They've done an EBIX to this fleet in this race.
They've done the EBIX this time around.
So they've just done a lovely jibe out in the corner there.
Yeah, they are
on screen. And their EBIX has come round the mark, probably a solid 100 metres behind. The Bartley's currently sitting in third, with the Fluid going around fourth. So that's the Plonk there, giving a 16 a run for its money, just to show how well these young kids are doing in terms of the speed that they can get up in these little boats.
Blanc Cafe, Avril Richards and Warwick Taylor sail on that one. And EBIX are just there behind them.
So the ferry coming through is creating a little bit of havoc for the Bartley a bit further up the course, but
And the Fluid too, by the looks of it.
so it sort of give these guys a good little jump out in front. Just going to pan around here and see if we can pick up the Plonk.
There's Plonk charging to the finish.
Nice approach there. Just as his breezes kicks, we're just getting that little bit of spell to run through too. And on these 13s, because they are so short, they are just that little bit more tippy than the 16.
Yep.
I've always found them, as we sort of alluded to a bit earlier in the week, they can actually be a lot harder to sail. But the Plonk is doing a great job showing a clean set of hills in this race so far. So here we have third and fourth, I believe. The Bartley with the white chute there in the Fluid. Full stretch from both boats here, trying to maximise as much power as they can.
Lovely looking spinning, isn't it?
Yeah, on that Plonk, it's a really nice play out, isn't
Oh, I don't think they've seen that
it? Yeah.
boat heading out.
Trying to do their best Nathan Wilmot impression from a few days ago in training. So these guys have still got one more jibe to get themselves down to this finish. This is the Bartley on screen there though here. You can see how hard the forward hand's working, trying to get themselves down and maximise that spinnaker as much as they can. So as we said,
Plonk on the last jibe in.
nice jibe from them. About to cross the finish line. We've seen them up the front of the fleet a few times, haven't we, Jimmy? But they just haven't been able to follow through for a win just yet.
Yeah,
So
not just yet, so they'll be ecstatic with that.
That'll be very exciting for them.
Next across the line will be EBIX, they're not far behind.
They've been consistent. I think their worst result so far has been a third. So they're trying to keep keep everything on the podium, which is good to see.
And there's a little fluid, Donnie Rollinson on the picture on your left, which is from the drone, and then we're down here with Ebix, just about to come in for their final jibe on approach.
Lovely. That's a lovely
Unbelievable
job
jibe. That
from
was
the Ebix end, wasn't it?
No wonder they're leading.
Wide away from the crew with the sheet in his hand. He's done pretty well there, hasn't he?
Yeah. And then Rob will get you just to swing back around, and you got Bartley and Fluid just over here to the right.
So the Bartleys managed to get themselves back into the Fluid, whilst the Fluid did look like they jumped ahead.
Well, maybe that ferry up the top of course has played into the hands of that Paulie.
Yeah.
Just, you know, as you know, the ferry management situation is a big situation to deal with.
Yeah. And then the Cybertech group is the next boat after the Fluid. So getting some consistency back for them, which is good to see.
And here's the Bartley on final jibe.
Nice third for them.
Great little jibe there.
They really whip them around, don't they? You don't have long to pull that sheet on.
Yep. So Taylor Spriggett and Hugh Skeen. Next is Donnie. Where are they? Donnie Rollinson and Liam on the Fluid, just finishing.
And then here the Cybertech group.
And Shearline. So Shearline with the green spinnaker, and Cybertech group with the blue spinnaker, and the white spinnaker there is the 4X Gold 16-foot skiff. So
then the next boat's coming in here. We have
Botany Scaffold.
Second coming into today.
Sophie Hart and Bella Devola.
It's close racing for these 13s in this fleet. It's good to see. Next boat to come through will be number 9.
There they are on screen. Paulie,
Just having a little bit of difficulty.
Angus and Angus Stewart and Hugo Kemp rocketing along.
Let's see their jibe coming into this finish. Very nice. These 13s probably getting the best run of the harbour now coming into this finish. It's just kicked a tiny little bit more. No 16s to get in their way. They'll just be running down here having a lovely sail to the finish. This light blue chute on screen is number 37.
Which is Duchess Amy Bentley. I'm just getting told from Chits that Amy had an absolute blinder in the really windy day at Belmont last year at the Nationals, and she blitzed them, Chits. Well, kept up with the 16s, there you go.
And I predicted this win the race this morning, didn't I?
Yeah.
And the one that I said would win didn't win the race.
Well, Hubble, you got to understand how this commentator's curse works.
They did get second though.
We have quite a little battle on our hands here. We've got live wire from Karingai.
Isaac Robbins.
Yep, and who have we got there on shoot?
We got-
Number 40.
Cheeky, Zachary Wyatt. So this nice tight finish here. Cheeky sort of taking the low fast lane in. Or we call that the kamikaze line from earlier today.
Yep. The red pumps line's the other side of the line, chits.
They made it through. The red pump slime almost hits us.
So, well, we might wrap up proceedings there. So, thanks for everyone tuning in. Huge thanks to the head of lead, Peter Hubble, for joining us. And
Yeah, thanks for that. It was good fun.
you're looking good.
Yeah.
Thanks, Paulie Mac. As always, great to be in commentary with you.
Thanks for
Thanks to
having
all the guys down the back of the boat here today that have helped out. Rob, Sam, Jono and Chits. Been a pleasure as always. Tune in tomorrow for another 2 heats. Just double check on socials and so forth for start times and the results for both the 16s and the 13s from this resale of Heat 1 will be up very shortly once the 13s are finished. And we look forward to seeing you back at the Skiff Club and tuning in tomorrow from wherever you are watching. Thanks very much.